Where's my, okay, there it is. It took a second to load up. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. It's been a minute. I am Kurly, and today we have a special stream today. So now that I am a certified expert in Mahjong, I figured that now is the opportunity for me. Don't look at that last place. Don't look at that. Let's just kind of ignore that. I figured this is kind of a good point for me to actually start trying to get good at the game. I would consider myself passable at this point. I know the rules. I know how to form a winning strategy, and I can kind of make progress. I know when to push, I know when to fold, ideally. Well, I know the concepts of them. I know a lot of the base concepts, but now let's try to see if we can take this to a whole new level. We're gonna be having a coaching session, or we are gonna be getting coached by one of the top 20 players in Mahjong Soul. That is Wrath_SS. Let's see, where is he? Oh, Otakul's 14? Hell yeah, get it. Wrath right here. He's currently top 20, but he's been in like top 8, top 10, top 8 placements previously. I think it's more of like everyone else has been popping off. I don't know. How do you have like that many points? Oh, okay, it's based on that. Okay, never mind. But yeah, in about half an hour or so is when we're going to start our session. It's about a 2-hour session. I don't know what is entail. I'm going to be doing a like screen share with him, and he's going to be showing me a bunch of like materials and such. And I don't really know what to expect from it, but we'll kind of just see. But yeah, I am super looking forward to this. Wrath is at. I have a really fun kind of relationship with Wrath because he was literally the first person to talk to my stream, or talk in my stream when I started streaming Mahjong, like almost a year ago. Yeah, I started streaming in the beginning of June last year. And I had not really played much Mahjong before. I mean, I played a decent amount, but I had like no idea really what I was doing. And Wrath was the first person that I actually like got to talk to about Mahjong. Because before, no one I knew like played Mahjong. I didn't really have like anyone to like talk concepts of. I was just basically in my own bubble trying to figure out how the hell to play this game. All I had to go off of was just Akagi and like other animes and just what I played in like Yakuza 0, which is a terrible start actually, because I just greeted everything. I try to go for the most ridiculous plays, call everything, not understanding why I'm dealing in so much or what's safe, what isn't, and it was just terrible. It was kind of fun, but like he just casually goes into my stream and says hi, and I'm like, oh my god, someone that I can talk Mahjong to, that's awesome. And then I find out he's like one of the top players. I thought that was fantastic. But yeah, he's a excellent Mahjong player. Can't wait to have this lesson with him. We got a bit of time. Let me actually message him real fast. Okay, cool. All right, we'll probably be like doing like a direct call. I will be having text to speech off for this stream session, and I actually may turn off. No, we'll keep the chat display on the stream, just because like, you know, maybe we'll like bring up something. But I'm not gonna turn on text to speech because I don't want to be interrupted during his lessons. And this is a lesson for me, not you guys. But hopefully, you all watching this will be able to also learn a few things as well. I can already tell that the biggest issue that we're going to run into is me not knowing all the Japanese terms for all of like for all the complicated hands. Because I have just been using the English terms, the ones that are like kind of listed in, no, not there. Like calling it all triples or 3 quadruples, all triplets, 3 concealed triplets, like calling it all like mixed triple sequence, calling it all of the calling it all of like the English names. It's just kind of like been a habit of mine. The try hard stream, it's gonna be a try hard learning stream. I actually don't know what's gonna be in store for it. I know we're gonna be going over some reading material and such like that. But yeah, the goal of this is to now start, like, let's try to actually get good. And that's one of the things that I highly recommend. Like, once you get to a certain point, within any sort of competitive bit, you have to kind of learn from the experts, essentially. That's actually something I was doing recently outside of Mahjong. So off stream, I've been playing a lot of teamfight tactics, and I was able to make a push for Diamond, and I got it like a few days ago. And the big difference between the play between when I got Platinum and when I hit Diamond is that I actually took the time to watch some of the high-level streamers. There's a lot of stuff going on because Regionals is going on right now. So we can learn some stuff as well. That's kind of why I wanted to stream this as well. It's not just for the clout. It's not just for the clout. It's that I want my stream to be an opportunity for like the newer players to be able to. I want my stream to be the more approachable Mahjong stream. And so hopefully with this learning session, some of you guys will learn a few things too. But as I was saying, for teamfight tactics, I took some time to actually watch what the high level players were doing, and their play patterns for this set were fairly different from what I was doing previously. Because I've been actually playing auto battlers since they came out. Like Dota Auto Chess when it premiered, like what, 2019-ish or so? Yeah, it was like 2019 when it got really popular. Or was it 2020? I don't even remember. I started playing that a boatload. I think it was 2019. And I've been kind of playing it. I've been playing that genre like ever since. But with teamfight tactics, there's different strategies that become more powerful depending on the set. Like one of the sets, it was really important to not level at all and just constantly reroll down to try to get 3-star units. Other sets, it's you want to save up all your gold to try to hit level 9 and try to run like a level 9 comp. It's very different depending, like what strategy is good for each set is very dependent on what the set is. And I needed to do research and like actually watch the top level players, see what they're doing in the set to get a better sense of like how I should be approaching teamfight tactics. Hey, how's it going, you? So we have our lessons starting at 2. I think I'm just gonna, for the sake of it, just for a warm-up, let's just get a warm-up game going. And let's see, let me add some text in here, just so... All right, we'll just go for that. Let's see. I mean, at least this way, maybe we can like get some warm up going. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that you have a migraine. I have some friends that get them like constantly, and it does not look pleasant in any way, shape, or form. I also know that when we're gonna be doing... Ooh, okay, that's pretty good. Should I just drop the red, use this as my pair? That's potentially good. We maybe be able to get like a Infu set up? Maybe. Well, let's just go for it and see where we get from there. You get it when you sleep for more than 8 hours or less than 4, so you need that golden sweet spot. That feels unfortunate. If I got punished for sleeping more than 8 hours, I think my life would be ruined. Ooh, that's really good for us. I think now we could drop this too. We actually probably could have dropped the 7 first. That's a little unfortunate, but we already dropped it. Okay, so we're getting some tiles that we already discarded. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Teamfight Tactics off stream, mostly because it's now the only like auto battler that I'm allowed to play. Penguin Knight 76, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. I don't want to call this yet. Ooh, that was pretty good. I guess we get rid of the 7. So I've been playing some Teamfight Tactics off stream because it's like the last one I get to play. Unfortunately, the other auto battler that I was playing, Storybook Brawl, they got acquired by an NFT company, and now it's just like, oh, I don't really want to give them any sort of support, which is really fucking unfortunate because I want to give those guys support because they're like old Magic the Gathering people, and I want to support that. And I really like Storybook Brawl. I just gotta stick to my morals. I did the same for Blizzard games. I gotta do the same for this. I have morals and I gotta stick to them. Ooh, okay. So that door was dropped recently. A lot of people are dropping characters. No one's in characters, so I think we can get rid of it. I think we'll just drop this 2 because we still have the 3 acceptance. This hand's getting a little weird. I don't know if it's gonna play out, so we might just have to fold it. Ooh, that was huge. All right, you dropped a bunch of bamboos. So I don't know what you're going for here. I guess it would be bamboos, so this is like pretty risky. Okay, you're in Riichi. Okay, so this is the first lesson that I know I'm gonna learn, is when to not hit that Riichi button. That's the one thing I do want to learn. Because every time, like, legitimately, every time the Riichi button comes up, I press it. Though this hand seems pretty decent for it. It's a Pinfu. It's not inside, but it's still a Pinfu hand, which is kind of worth doing. It's unfortunate. I only played the first season. You only played the first season of TFT? Yeah, that's fair. The newest set for TFT is actually really good. They introduced like a system called augments, where like every couple of stages you get like a unique buff. I'm just gonna get rid of this now before I'm tempted. You get like a unique buff for your team, and it really increases the diversity of like games that you can play, or like what happens in the game. So normally, like you can get a team that is very, very, very defensive because you have a bunch of defensive augments, or you get the ability to turn a carry into a different type that allows you to make some really unique combinations. I guess I can call this because we have these Norths that we can call as our actual Yaku. So this hand's gonna be cheap. But we need to get like something back. Because we lost that sumo hand as the dealer, so we lost the most points. Oh Jesus. So we gotta make sure that like each of these hands we're getting something. Okay, never mind. I don't get it. I was gonna take that. Alright, dealer just getting their dealer streak going, which is fine. Oh, crap. Rat's calling me. Hey, can you hear me?
Hello?
Alright, alright, let's just actually...
Yeah, I can't hear you, so...
Quit out of this.
I don't know if you're on the wrong mic or voice something. Let me go to your channel for a second. Go to your...
Alright, we're actually gonna quit out of this for a minute, because I need to figure out settings.
Yeah, you're not coming through here. Okay, yeah.
Alright, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, give me a sec. I gotta mess with settings.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's kill this music for a minute. Can you say something?
Sure. Can everyone hear?
All right, try now.
Okay. Test. Yeah. Like you maybe just look at your OBS and see like what how the voice like the volume level is, I guess.
Yeah, it seems fine. I think I may need to upgrade turn up Discord for a sec.
Yeah. So hi everybody. Yeah, just I guess wait for chat to it's a bit low compared. Yeah, what you can do.
Oh, I'm already at
Let me
max
see
with
what.
Discord. Fuck.
Oh, you can't do that. Never mind. Yeah, maybe just turn it up, I guess. Hmm.
Maybe a bit low compared. All right, so every like volume option that I see available to me has you on max.
Okay. Like do you have that on OBS though? Like that's like it eventually goes through OBS and
Yeah, I have you on
that
OBS, but
toggle is
also like
matters as
OBS.
so I don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
that
OBS is
lessons
like
you.
maxed out. Hang on.
Like
Like
you see like when I talk, like it jumps in OBS, right? Like there's some
yeah.
I don't know which one
Oh, but that's right. I
which
have an
channel you have there,
one
but
moment. Let me
like
muck
definitely
with
it
that
should
for a
like go up
bit
and
because I
down.
actually have
That
a
that like
desktop audio limiter
that
for
setting
that.
there, like it could even be like you can even add like from 0 to like positive even, or just add gain to it if that's needed. Or
Yeah, let me actually. Can I?
yeah, otherwise maybe just chats having to turn their volume up a little bit, as long as it's not too bad. I think that should be fine.
All right, try talking now.
Yeah, just working out a bit of technical stuff. It's the first session, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah, Scuff
also like
streamer. We got to get all
I
this figured
also
out.
put it in my Discord that we're doing this, and probably more people will be making their way over shortly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to kill the music, which is fine because we're not here to
Okay,
jam.
give
We're
me a
here to
second.
learn.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to your Twitch and like your Twitch channel and just listen to it myself. Let me see.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you hear? Can I?
Yeah, it's always kind of hard for me to figure out because I actually have all the desktop audio going
All
through
right.
speakers, and that's
Yeah, how's
not an
everyone doing?
exact translation to what the stream hears.
Oh, it's okay. I think that's fine now. Before like it was either like lagging or something, but now I think it's fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. We'll just start from here. Let me.
Yeah. So first of all, like this is the coaching session for experts moving towards a master and beyond, right? So right now, like just a few like very fundamental stuff. Like I'm gonna like assume that you're at expert level. We're not gonna do everything like from the very beginning.
Right.
If anyone is like completely new to the game, like then we like there's like different resources to teach the game that like just from the start. But like right now, we're gonna like go right into like different concepts and try to not waste time with like too stuff that's too simple.
Right.
Also, I'm not gonna look at your chat. At the end of like we're gonna go by like little modules and stuff like that. Just at the end, I'll take questions, but like we're not going to like stop and answer questions right in between. Like we
Yeah.
just collect our questions and at the end and answer. Like so, chat. You're free to ask questions, and we'll do our best to collect them and answer them. But like not answer them immediately, but at the end of each section.
Yeah. I already let my
Um,
regulars know that I turned off text to speech for this
mhm.
session.
Yeah. So a few very fundamental questions, I guess, also for your chats as well. So first of all, like how did you get into the game? Like how did you get introduced and how did you?
Yo, it's actually a bit of a story.
Mhm.
So I first discovered that Mahjong. Oh, I'm still in this. Oh, it still has me in this game. I was leaving it. Oh well, we're just gonna autopilot it because I don't care about this rank. It's just a goal
All
game.
right. Mhm.
So let me also just like kill the sound effects. So we'll just have this as like background. We'll see. Maybe we'll magically win.
Okay.
All right. So I started playing. So I first discovered Mahjong
Mhm.
through Super Smash Brothers Melee, of all things. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a one of the more well-known commentators for the game back in the day was a guy named Bobby Scar, and he was very much into the anime Akagi. He would talk about it all the time. And so that got me into, okay, let's check out Akagi and like see what this is. What is this Mahjong game? I have no idea. But the anime is kind of sweet. We'll check with it.
Okay.
And then that's kind of like how I learned about it. But it wasn't until let's see. I played a little and then like I was also playing Final Fantasy 14 at the time, and then they introduced Mahjong to it. So I played a little bit of that, but I didn't really have a sense of like what the hell was going on, like what were the rules. I was just kind of just doing what like the hints told me to do, and I just kind of just did that.
Okay.
And it wasn't really a good learning experience. Then cut like beginning of the pandemic. So everyone's inside. I'm just trying to find games to play. I discover Yakuza 0.
Mhm.
And I get like I get past the intro of the game and I get to the point where they let you run around Tokyo. I
Right.
find that there's a Mahjong parlor there. So now there's a single player Mahjong game for me to play. And so I just do that for literally a fucking week. I like proceed to not play the rest of Yakuza 0. I just play the Mahjong tables to kind of just like, get games in. Then it's at the point where I discover I'm at the point now where I think the computer is cheating because I'm at like the higher tables and they just have these like turn 4 Mongon Riichis that are just like crazy weights. I'm like, all right, something's up. I don't trust it and I can't confirm.
Okay.
So then I switch over to Final Fantasy, and then from there I discover Mahjong Soul, and then I play that for a bit, and then once I started streaming, I started doing that for Mahjong Soul. I was actually talking before that you were one of the first people to come into my chat to talk about Mahjong.
Mhm.
And I was like, I remember just being so excited. It's like finally someone I can talk to with the game about it. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. And like, oh, how good are you anyway? It's like, oh, I'm actually one of the top players. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, I discovered you pretty early, right? And
Oh yeah, you caught me in like my within the first month of me streaming, and like within the first few days of me deciding to try to stream Mahjong.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember back then we were just trying to get you to at least like fundamentally just throw the right tiles. Right?
Yeah, because I had no idea what the hell I was doing for it. I was like, what? It's like, how am I dealing in? Why am I always putting myself in Furiton? Wait, I called all these tiles. Why can't I actually call a winning hand? What the hell is Furiton?
Yeah. Now you know what Furutan is, right? So,
Oh yeah, I know what Furiton is.
yeah, I remember at the beginning that I mean, like it was like your chat coming in like through other games probably, and they were also trying to learn. You were trying to learn, so it was all like a learning experience type of thing, right?
Yeah, and that's also
Okay.
kind of like what I've been trying to like ideally cater my channel towards is to try to be the bridge for new people getting into this game, because Mahjong is sweet as hell. Okay, we didn't deal into this. Maybe we'll actually do well in this game and just like by just not dealing in. The game is just playing out. But one of the things I wanted to do with my channel and just like my time spent in Mahjong, do we actually get second? Hang on, do we actually get second? Okay, the game's still going. I don't know what. Oh, we're in still east. Anyway, I want my game to be able to be accessible for people who don't know how to play Mahjong, because I love the hell out of this game. It's so cool, but the barrier to entry is really high. The tiles are not in English. A lot of the terms that people like using are not the English terms, and so it's really hard to get in. Like, it's really hard to crack the shell of what makes Mahjong really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would call the learning curve at around a medium. Like it's not too hard to at least like have a some understanding of what's going on, but beyond that, like just like specific terms and
Yeah,
um,
there's a lot of,
things.
I say there's a lot of upfront knowledge that you need to just digest before you
Right.
can kind of like get into the flow of it. But like once you're in it, yeah, you're just drawing and discarding tiles. It's not that hard.
Okay, next question is like you're into other strategy games, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
board games, card games, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, so I've been playing like Magic the Gathering for like over a decade now.
Mhm.
And so I've been in that whole card game system. I was very big in the Hearthstone community
Mhm.
when I was doing Hearthstone stuff. There was actually like a local community that I would go to every Friday to play Hearthstone games with. That
Mhm.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But don't do Hearthstone anymore. I'm just not supporting Blizzard at this point for various
Yeah, I
reasons.
mean also that game like it just there's just too many like the game just got too big. Like it's just like you have to play it like every day basically just to be catching up. Like
Yeah.
otherwise like you can't even play the game properly because like you don't have the right cards and it's just it gets harder and harder, right? Like
Yeah,
it
it's a
just
lot harder to like keep up with all the new stuff unless you're either up front, you're like fronting up a lot of money to
Mhm.
keep up with it, or you're just like constantly disenchanting stuff that you did from like
Mhm.
previous sets that like rotated out
Mhm.
to like kind of keep up with it. And yeah, I haven't touched the game in a couple of years.
Yeah,
I'll like
I haven't. Mhm.
Yeah. But the the new genre that I've been really jamming on is like the auto battler genre. So
Ah, I
like
see.
Dota auto chess and like team fight tactics. I was just mentioning I've been playing a lot of team fight tactics the last like
Mhm.
week or two off stream.
Mhm.
Just because I got on a good win streak and I decided to push for what was it, diamond rank? Yeah. So I was able to
Mhm.
get diamond in that.
I
But
see.
I love the auto battler genre. And that's also a reason why I kind of got brought into Mahjong, is because there's a lot of elements of the auto battler genre that are like present in Mahjong.
Mhm.
It's like you have multiple players. You're kind of drafting a hand, as it were. You have to be considerate of what everyone else is drafting or like drawing and
Mhm.
discarding. There's a level of randomness to it that I like. There's a lot of the good parts about team fight tactics and like the auto
Mhm.
battlers are present in Mahjong that I just really liked.
Okay. So next question, like we started out like me teaching you some like just talking about like discarding
論点
terminals
だ
or
わ。
honors before the middle tiles. Like
Yeah.
after that, like I guess you're playing a lot, but like how have you been trying to learn and improve on the game
Uh,
on your game?
so I was just kind of jamming games. I think the major breakthrough that I hit recently is truly understanding when to push and when to fold,
Okay.
and that's been a lot harder for the games that I've been playing because I've been playing exclusively East games,
Mhm.
and some of that is just for it's easier to like trim down the content for I'm trying to push for my YouTube videos. Like trying to edit down a South game just sounds like a nightmare. Like
Mhm.
these games
Yeah.
are already a lot. But I kind of, as I was playing, I kind of really liked the flow of East games more than South games because I just got the feeling for South games. You have the, because you can play very defensively in Mahjong, you can
Mhm.
kind of just like sit back and wait for your big hand out of like the 8 to 10 hands that you're gonna play for you to finally push,
Mhm.
and just kind of like autopilot dodge a lot of the other hands. Where in East games, you don't have as much time to do that, so you kind of have to. I get a feeling that I need to make every hand count as best I can. I kind of like that mindset a little more,
Yeah.
but at least in terms of like improvement, one of the things I definitely want to improve upon is not auto hitting the Riichi button.
I see.
When is it a good time to not hit the Riichi button?
All right.
That's
Yeah, we'll
that's
definitely.
one of the things I want to learn. Another thing I want to kind of improve upon is being able to read what my opponent's hands are going for
Okay.
based off of their discards. I can
Mhm.
do that a little, but it's it's a lot of guesswork.
Based on discards. Okay, so these are things that we definitely touch on today. I'll get through a few more of these questions, and then we'll talk about our plan for today.
Sure.
So we're gonna talk about like right now just some mahjong related things. Like how well do you think you understand the fundamental rules of the game? Like for example, like you know the different fruit hands, right?
Yeah.
Like you know the Riichi stick, the Homba stick, and like stuff like that, right? Like no, you don't like you know how like when when someone calls Riichi, they have to pay 1,000
Yeah, they have to
coins.
pay 1,000. Yeah, they have to pay 1,000.
Yeah,
I know the rules of the game. I know majority of the winning. I know most, if not all, the winning hands, and I know how to make sure that I have a Yaku. Most of the time. Sometimes I brain fart and get myself screwed on one point or another. But for the most part, I know that. I would say I understand the rules of the game.
Okay. What about fruit hands specifically? Because you know there are like temporary fruit hands, and then there's
you can Furiten. So there's a Furiten that you get where if you would all right, how do I explain this? If you have like a tile that could be the winning tile, but you discarded it previously. Oh, did I deal in? That's unfortunate. That's sad. Oh well.
Okay.
All right, so playing by yourself does not, or letting the robot play for you is not always the best. And we lose some points, but whatever. We just got here. It's fine. All right, let me just get back out of this. So say I have like, I have a 1 and 4 weight, but technically I discarded the 1 already. The 4 can still win me the game, but if someone discards the 1, I won't be able to call that 4 until I draw another tile.
Right. Like the fruit hand, what was it? Fundamentally, it only affects bronze. Like you can always like
Yeah, you can always just top tag it. Which legitimately, that's happened more times than I care to admit, where like I accidentally put myself in Furitin, but it's okay. I just top deck it, and because I have streamer flow, it just works out.
Okay. So next question is how well do you know the score in general? Like I don't mean like exact like to the near like exactly, but like maybe like to the nearest 1,000. Are you kind of like
loosely? I know that's like okay, like it's roughly if you get 4 Han, majority of the time that's going to be a Mangan, and that's 8k.
Yes.
And that's kind of like my base from there.
Okay. So what about 3 Hans? How approximately how much is that?
About I think last time I got it, it's like 52, but it really depends on the Fu.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Fu, I have no idea about. I have not spent any time looking at it because funny bit is I was at one point I was reading over the Riichi book. I never actually finished the Riichi book, which is probably something I should have done before this, but whatever. And it got to a point in about midpoint of the book where it says, okay, let's talk about scoring. And there's just one paragraph that says scoring is very complicated. And if you're playing Mahjong, someone else probably knows how to do the scoring. So don't worry about it for now. I'm just like, sweet, great, Les. Thanks for teaching me, book. I think it gets into much later chapters that I never got to.
So we're gonna talk about score for a second. It's very important to like for the game, like to know like how much points you get and how do you win the game, right? That's
right.
kind of so basically in terms of Riichi Mahjong, you know one like just roughly, right? I'm not talking specifics. I'm talking about roughly. Like one Han is roughly 1k, right?
Yeah.
We are ignoring through or anything like that. Just one Han is roughly 1k. 2 Hans is roughly 2k. Well, it's exactly 2k, but you can see how that's a linear relationship, right? So 1 Han 1, 2 Han 2, right? But when you go to 3 Hans, is that's almost 4k, right?
Yeah.
So
it goes up a little bit exponentially, kind of.
Right. Yeah, it goes up in the exponential by 2, right? So like it's like 3 like 2 to like it's a for almost 4k. And then what's significant is four hands, right? That's almost 8K, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the in the game the highest
Oh
reward.
god, that's a loud raid. Oasis, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm Raf. We're in a coaching session trying to get Curly to play better and hopefully get him to master and above, right? So
Yeah, that's the goal.
yeah. So like talking back in the score, right? So like in the game, like our main goal is to get four Han hands. I
Yeah.
mean, that is like when it gets to five Han, then you recognize that's also 8K. So that's where it like hard plateaus, right? Like four Han and five Han is almost the same,
Yeah.
and then six Hans is 12K, right? So that's like not exponential anymore. It's like from 8K to 12K, that's not even double. That's just 50%, right?
Right.
And then like six Han and seven Han is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Eight Han,
And
eight Han is
all of this changes if you're a dealer, of course.
right. They all get multiplied by 1.5. But fundamentally, we're talking about the exponential growth of three and four Han hands specifically. And
Right.
after four Hans, it hard plateaus. Like basically, like like considering how hard it is to get six Hans, for example, like for every single hand, like when you get a four hand, you should be pushing pretty hard.
Right.
You should also be aiming for that. Like if you can't get a four hand, you should at least aim for a three hand because that also gives you an exponential, right?
Right.
It's not three like three hands is not 3,000, it's 4,000, and four
Yeah.
hands is not four, it's eight. So I mean that's where the return or like that's what you aim for in the game.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed that like that can be a potential weakness in my current play. Some of that is probably systematic of playing ease games a bunch where I'm just trying to get any win. But there
Mhm.
are definitely times where I am being fairly aggressive on calling and trying to win a hand that ends up only being one or two Han. And that puts me in a very dangerous situation of not having enough tiles to discard into someone who will potentially have like a Mongon or greater.
Yeah, so today we're going to cover a lot of fundamentals and also probably be able to change some of this because we're going to talk about that. Okay, one last question here. Like you talked about like Riichi Book One, right? You did a
Yeah.
bit of reading there. Like that's the only book you read, right? Like have you
Yeah, that's
read
the only
anything
book I've
else?
read.
Okay, book one. I'll say about 50%, something like that. Okay, so next thing we want to take a look at your stats. So what you want to do is basically probably open up like Mahjong Soul. Let me
Yeah, I have
just
Mahjong Soul up now.
like
I've only been. Do you want to look at my East or South rounds? Because honestly, I got to expert on East rounds.
yeah, then we're just gonna look at these rounds.
Yeah.
So if you can just open that and either like screen share on it's probably easier if you screen share on Discord here.
Okay.
Then,
Yeah. Let me get that set up. Share your screen. Screen. Okay, we'll do screen. Da. All right, you can see it.
yep.
All right, cool.
So so the thing I like probably I mean other people have told you this before. Like we talk about East rounds, okay? So we're not okay. So your call rate's still pretty high even
Yeah.
for we want it to be around 40-ish. Like that's where we're aiming. Your deal rate's also a little bit high as well, but like if you look at your win rate, at least you're when you're pushing, you're winning enough hands to cover for this deal in. It's kind of like you play any game, right? Like sometimes you don't play that much defense, but if you have good enough offense, then like it
Yeah.
like right. And your reach rate is around 18%. And that's basically you are slamming Riichi, but like because you call a lot, you don't get that many close hands in
That's
general.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And your call rate also affects your average score. Usually in Riichi Mahjong, the average score on average would be around 6,000. So you're about 10% off that. And that's usually coming from going for too many cheap just one han cheap hands meaning one han or two han, right? I
Right.
mean, like any time, like even opening, like you kind of want to aim for free hands if possible. Sometimes like it obviously like it is East game, so you want to like sometimes like you just get a one hand and you win, right? That's
Yeah.
extreme case, but yeah. So these are things we want to work on. Like get your deal rate a little lower, get your call rate a little lower, and we're gonna go through some fundamentals on that and
All right, cool.
start it right now. So the three things we're gonna cover today, we're gonna talk about like very like just going through Riichi Book One in a very high level, like because like you understand most of it, but like we just want to go through a few details in there,
Yeah, sure.
and then we have Puyo's book. We're gonna talk about a little bit about like four tile shapes and recognizing these shapes.
I remember looking. I remember doing like reading over the shape like
Mhm,
concept,
mhm,
and I incorporated and tried to like keep it uh in my brain for a while, but
mhm,
when I took like a bit of a break for mahjong during the
mhm,
winter last year, and
mhm.
so like that kind of mindset. I don't I kind of think of it about it, but I'm not specifically saying like I have this block, this block, this block, this block.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm gonna it's something new. I'm gonna give you a good way to figure out how many blocks and stuff like that. But like it's something pretty new, and other coaching sessions I did, like people find it really helpful. That's something we'll go through. So right now I'm gonna be sharing the okay. After that, we're gonna talk about a bit about five block theory, strategies, and then after that we'll talk about defense, and that's gonna be day one.
Okay.
Day two is gonna be more like after working out these things, trying to figure out what your style is, and we're also going to talk about statistics in the game, like whether you're supposed to reachy or not reachy, or like are you supposed to chase or not, push pull. That's on day two,
Right.
and then day three is going to be like looking through all the materials, just having a um, glance at like your play style, like finalizing that, and then trying to figure out like how you're gonna get to master and beyond. Just talk about like different things. Just working on your game at the end.
Right.
Well, today's gonna be more like fundamentals. We're gonna go through a few like sections of books and talk about different um, more or less fundamental concepts because like we do need to get through these concepts through and making sure we're on the same page. And
Yeah.
then after that, we'll go into more uh, specific things.
All right.
And also
Sounds
like
good.
okay, so first I'm gonna share Riichi Book One. So let me do
Well,
that.
yeah. Let me. Oh yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, you can stop your share and then I'll share and then you can put it.
Okay. Let me out of. Uh, okay, there we go. Cool.
Okay. So this should be on the stream as well, right? Just
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking
okay.
at I have the Discord screen share up.
Okay, cool.
Make it
Okay,
here.
so like in general, like Riichi Book One, like you're just looking at the index or the table of contents at the moment. Like these are the major concepts of the game, right? So
Yeah.
like tile efficiency covers like two chapters, right? That's obviously that's how you play the game properly, or these are like fundamental knowledge.
Yeah.
We'll talk about like five block theory. You know what that is, but
Yeah.
we're gonna go in
Yeah, I
go into
made it
that a
this
little bit.
far into it.
Mhm. Yeah, this one is less important. Like you know how to do Sanshoku. You know what these are.
Yeah.
Um, the next one is probably like the Riichi judgment. Like to reach you or not to reach you, right? And then like
That yeah.
to give you like a really simple rules. We're not gonna cover that too much today. It's gonna be day two when we talk about statistics.
Yeah.
And then talk about today we're gonna talk about defense. Like why do we do defense, right? Or how, like you kind of know how, like you probably know like stuff like Suji and Kabe and stuff like that, but talk about like why do you do it? Oh, actually a little bit of an echo coming from your side.
Oh, is there? Let me see. Okay, try talking.
Okay. Yes, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, I just
So
moved the mic further away from the speaker.
I see. Okay, so number 9 here, melding judgment is like when do you make calls, right? So that's another section, and then after that is details about like what happens in East 4, for example. Like you need to be somewhat aware of like the point totals, right? And try
Yeah,
to evaluate like how do you get the win or how do you not lose or stuff like that.
yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna talk about actually we're gonna start with like chapter 3 here. Actually, there are a few things in here that we want. So first of all, we're not going to go too deeply here. We know that we know that there are 3 major suits. Okay, what terminals and honors are and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, okay. Like we can do sequences or triplets. Okay, so oh like we know about like E shanten and how many shantens, right? That's
Yeah.
how many tiles we are away from tempai, and that's something that's pretty important. We'll talk about that in when we talk about strategies and stuff like that. Yeah, when a can is one away from ready, it's you're trying to complete one of the last uh, blocks to get to tempai.
Yeah.
That's called E shanten and 2 shanten and 3 shanten and so on. Here, so tile acceptance shrinkage, right? As n gets smaller, that which meaning like the number of shantens, right?
Yeah.
Gets smaller. Your hand like your the hand is actually going from like your hand at the very beginning has a lot of potential to
Yeah, a
go
lot of
many
ways for
different
it can like
directions.
get closer.
Right. And but as it gets closer and closer, your hand continually gets more locked in, and you're waiting for less and less tiles. And then at the extreme case, when you're actually tempied and you're only waiting for, let's say, 1/4 soul, for example.
Yeah.
So in this particular example here, like you have a hand that's 2 away, like you're waiting for 4 pin, 5 pin, 8 pin, 1, 4, 7, 5, 8, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's listed here. So you recognize that like here we have like 4, 5, 8, like you have 12 types of tiles, right? So that's like a third, like that's basically what that is trying to say is that when you're like quite far away from tempai, then you most likely it's less likely or you don't need to call because like you will most likely be able to draw one of these yourself
Right.
because just by pure
Yeah, that's something
statistics.
I need to like keep in mind that like early on calling is not as good just because you just have so much acceptance in your hand naturally that you don't need to
Yeah,
just grab the first one. I mean,
right,
unless it's a red 5 and I fucking call that every day. Don't tempt me.
right. Yeah, so like you want to make calls that are like you want to be very selective, right? Like you
Yeah.
want to make sure that your hand has 3 hands or more, and also like your calling does not make your hand like suck, right? Like you know how like sometimes you make the call and then your hand just you have
Yeah.
to throw away like a 1-2 to like go tan yao that kind of like goes backwards or goes sideways, right? Like you make a call, you're not actually helping your hand, you're just making your hand potential less. Like you're locking in your yaku, you're reducing hand value and
Yeah, that's definitely like mentally something that I could definitely approve upon is just not calling unless I know the call is going to net me 3 um 3 Han. That's definitely like one of just like the rules that I just need to like have in my brain when I'm doing this.
yeah, so like the idea is like you don't want to make do like everything and go like jumping through hoops just for like a tiny hand, right? I mean that's
Yeah.
like that so you want it to be worth it, and even for East games that's fundamentally like you want to take risk and have the corresponding reward, right? You don't want
Yeah.
to do things just for the sake of doing things. I mean you want to win the game and you want to make more points than usual, right? So that's the tau acceptance shrinkage. That's the concept here. Like there are definitely lots of situations about that. We're going to look into one of your logs and look at one of your hands and like um most likely when it's like 3 tiles away, your tile acceptance is going to be like 70 tiles, or like your chances of drawing the right tile would be like at like 60 70%. So you just let the like you have to be like super unlucky not to draw the right tiles. Like
Yeah,
you would
within a
draw,
couple.
yeah. So that's when like you don't want to like you want to like control your calling so that when you call when it actually matters.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's the idea about this tile acceptance shrinkage. So that's and more overall, like this is like talking about shantans, right? We want to like advance your hand, right? Like you want to at the beginning, like you're kind of far away, but like you want to move from 3 shantan to 2 to 1 to tenpai to a win. Like you continually wants to advance your hand forward. It's very rare for you to go backwards. Um, that makes it that makes it harder to win, right? Like
Right.
you have to put in more work, get some better luck. It does happen, but like for
Yeah,
like
the only situation that I remember like specifically putting myself further away is because the one away hand was like really small, and it was like I was in last place in the last game. So it's like, no, I need to actually greed for the big hand if I'm gonna have any chance of winning. So
yeah, so in that case, right, like there's also the argument, for example, like let's say you know you need a free hand, right? So
mhm.
you better like it is usually better if strategically you start working on it on turn one. Like like if there's a 1-2 and you're going for Tanyao, you might as well throw the 1-2 at the very beginning
Right.
for so that you don't lose like middle tiles or you don't go in the wrong direction and then have to back up and go like you don't want to get into tempai and then realize, oh, I don't, my hand doesn't have enough, right? That's
Yeah.
yeah. So like strategically, we're gonna talk about that in a moment, but like let's try to make sure we are on the same page on these concepts. So so like we talk about like these weights, right? We know these things.
Yeah.
Blind man is a two-sided weight. It's
Yeah. Double sided and like close weights and then the edge weights. Yeah.
Mhm. Like the Kanchans are obviously the second best in this two tile shape. Waiting, both of them are waiting for 4 tiles, one kind 4 tiles. Yeah, we know these things.
Yeah.
So so that's about I think that's about it. What we want to talk about in this chapter. I don't know if chat has any questions.
I don't know,
It's
chat. You got
pretty
any questions?
fundamental, simple stuff. Yes, pretty fundamental, simple stuff.
I think most of the people in here, at least like most of the raiders, are probably familiar with these concepts. But I think I have a few of the people from my community are still kind of new. So if you have any questions about it, like feel free to ask in the chat.
Yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes. So yeah, just if there are any questions, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of these concepts we know, but this is good to just make sure that Wrath and I are on the same page. Honestly, a lot of like the hard bit for me is the Japanese terms. I just haven't put the time into internalizing them. Curators are very skilled. Well, because I'm relatively new to the scene comparatively, I just assume that like most of the people are generally higher ranked and just better than me. Yeah, Wonder Bread. I think I actually linked this book to you. If not, let me actually do that real fast. Let me bring it up. Just to kind of keep everyone on the same page, this is the book that we are reading. It's called Riichi Book 1. This is the book that like everyone recommended I read when I first started, and it helps give you like basic concepts of it. So I've downloaded it like 4 times. So here we're looking at so let me just a bit. Yeah, it'll teach you like, okay, first it teaches you the Tenho client, which you don't really need to know about. But here's like the second tile is like actually the basics of the game and a lot of like the concept of how to actually win at the game. How to actually win, and then it gets into the idea of how to not lose at it. Riichi Book 2 never. Isn't Riichi Book 1 like relatively new?
No, it's been around for a while, and there's no Riichi Book 2. Like
Yeah,
the author wanted to write it, but then like stopped. He got too busy and stuff and so on. And there's actually a seminar. Like he did a seminar that had some concepts about like Riichi Book 2.
Oh, like what would be in it?
Yeah, but like it was like a seminar, and it's like available on YouTube. But maybe someone can find that. It's like a 2 hour like video type of thing. Like he was in a lecture, and that was what he was doing. But anyways,
Yeah, no chat questions, but I did throw in the link to the book that we are reading or going over.
Okay, so we know these like we talk about like free tile shapes. Like these are called roncons. These are usually pretty decent. I mean, like it's also a two-sided weight, right? Like
Yeah,
in a way, like it, but like you just have one more tile forming it, so it has similar um efficiencies, but like it just requires one more
that's the
tile.
bit that always like this shape also always like drives me insane, where it's like it's 1 3 5 and then maybe you also have a 7, where it's like, okay, that's taking up like 4 tiles of your hand to like eventually get like a meld, but you don't know like which one you're gonna draw into, so you have to like hold on and wait for it until you get something. And that's one of the bits that always like just drives me nuts because it just takes up so much time.
We're going to talk about 5 block theory, and that's kind of it helps on that. And
Yeah,
after that, I'll expand on that. Okay, so we're just gonna different free tiles type of weights. Yeah, I think chapter 3 is kind of like there's some like shapes, talking about shapes, but we're gonna talk about shapes in a different book, so we're gonna skip this. Yeah, probably
sounds
gonna skip
good.
most of this. Go right into 5 block method, right? So you kind of know what 5 block theory is. I mean,
Yeah, so 5 block theory is basically the idea is that your hand technically as per rules of the game, your hand consists of 4 sequences in a pair, and that's technically your 5 blocks. So when you're forming out when your hand is forming out, you should be mentally looking at your hand and seeing which tiles are associated with which blocks.
Yeah. Now, it can get pretty difficult in a game to count it, right? I mean, that's kind of like
Oh yeah, like when I have blocks that are like, okay, say I'm going for an all I have a flush hand, but the sequences between them are all kind of melted together that I can't mentally parse out which ones are the blocks. Like definitely during when I go for flush hands, I just collect them all and just hope it works out.
Yeah, that would require there's a app that get that helps you on like working on efficiency. It's called the efficiency trainer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know
I did them like a while ago, but I haven't done my training. I haven't gone in and done my usual training for it. Like when I first got introduced to it, like probably like months. This is at this point like 6+ months ago. I was doing it fairly regularly, but I kind of fallen off of it.
Yeah, so here we just go very fast here. Like it's just because you know what that is. Like a lot of people here know what it is, or at least it's very intuitive. Yeah, 4 blocks of normal like 4 blocks of 3 and in a pair, adding up to 14 tiles or a winning hand. So uh, yeah, someone can someone share the efficiency trainer in the chat? Yeah,
There's a couple out there. The one that I think I use was on it's a .io app.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's something different. Yeah,
I think that's the one I.
Yeah, SEP.
Yeah, that's the one that I use.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, so talk about five block theory here. We talk about like example 4.1 here, for example. You notice how like it broke into five blocks. But however, like two fives is a block, 7 8 is a block, 1 3 3 is one block, and completed triplet is a block. Now this one is it considers it as one block. It should be looked at as two blocks if you're being very precise. Two
Yeah.
fours is a block and 5 5 is a block. But like usually when you talk about five block theory, then you kind of like you have four sure blocks, and then whatever is left is the fifth.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like by the process of elimination. And
Oh, okay. Oh, that's oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense actually.
yeah, so like basically like if you have a clump of whatever it is, like you have like a Chinitsu looking hand, at least you like look and immediately like try to find like oh, you see a 7 8, okay, that's a you see a 7 8 9, okay, that's a block. You see
Yeah.
you see a pair, and then you try to parse it, and then like that, and then whatever is left is the fifth block. So or whatever like loose tile or whatever, like that's how you kind of look at it from a five blocks perspective. And here like it's broken into this way because there are two rules, right? Like the five block method, there are two fundamental rules. Number one, there is no block that's too weak. So basically, you know how like and then like number two is each block has at most three tiles.
Yeah.
So like applying rule number two here is that you see like this one is considered oversized. So that's where like why we're throwing this. Like
Yeah,
that's
so
why
is so like so mentally, is it better to consider this middle block, this 4 block tile, like a 5 block, or consider it 6 blocks?
um fundamentally you should reach the same conclusions because well actually like you see this is a 4 5 5, right? You know you can
Yeah,
recognize that's a good shape, right?
yeah, yeah, because
And then you rec
you're accepting the 3 and the 5 and 6.
yeah, so
Although the 6
usually
is a little
in
awkward.
yeah, in mentally, like different ways of breaking this, right? So you can break it into 2 4 and 5 5. That's two blocks. Or you can break it into 4 5 5 and then like this loose two. That makes it even easier. Like you have a
Yeah,
loose two here basically. No matter how like you should like no matter how like mentally you do it, like either you do it by process of elimination or you do it by recognizing this is a good block and this is loose, or by any other method at the end, like what's important is you want to figure out two pin is the loose tile. Probably preferably figure it out within 10 seconds. So that's that like no matter how what method you want
yeah.
to use
So
to do
yeah,
it,
so I
that's
guess
how.
ideally that should be also be like your hint for what you need to discard is anything that's kind of, if you're able to parse out all your blocks and then one of the blocks has 4 tiles on it, kind of the overflow, that should give you a hint to that like something in that block should be your next discard for efficiency.
Yeah. So obviously this is pretty simplistic. Like there are hands that have like many different ways of breaking it, but like fundamentally that's what you're doing. Okay. So that's the fundamentally how um like five block theory, but like how does it help you, right? That's fundamentally what or why do we want to break it into different methods, or like how does it help you determine the correct tile to discard at the end, right? That's
Right.
basically the goal of whatever you're doing here. So which is and then the number like this one, there is no block that's too weak. That's another fundamental concept. Let's see if we can find a example of that. So here, like, oh, okay, so looking at 4.2 here, right?
Okay.
Like we have a 3 5 7. We
Yeah.
know that one block. 4 5 6, obviously. 6
Six
7.
seven is a good one. Yeah.
Um, this, and then like whatever is left is this, right?
Right.
So here again, using rule number two, we're gonna discard something over here, and here we kind of because like we have white dragons that we want to call. So like we pretty much want to keep a pair here. So when
Yeah.
we call the white dragon, then the hand will have a pair. So either we drop here, we're dropping either 4 so or 8 so
Right.
from the
Probably the
oversight.
8, yeah.
Yeah, either way, like depending on the round and like whether it's 7 is easier to win. Like sometimes like you throw the 4 and wait on the 7, right? Because
Okay,
7.
yeah, to throw out the food. Yeah, that's one of those like kind of like I consider more advanced techniques of
Mhm.
that's a trick that you can do to trick the advanced players who
Yeah.
are looking for those sujis.
Yeah, but like also at the same time, like you kind of want to figure out like at some point, like do I actually want to wait on a 5 or do I want to wait on a 7 at the end,
Well, it's a
right?
red. You can
7
get
is
the red 5, so the answer is always the red 5.
okay, I see. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so that's that, right? So that's not too difficult. So like it's here it talks about another mentally how do you do it type of thing. So here using process elimination, like here we have this is certainly a block. The 4 6 is a block here, and the triplet of tune is a block.
Yeah.
So whatever is left using process elimination, this is 2 blocks basically. That's what it is saying.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, like it's also somewhat simplistic in that you can also like look here and see it. Oh, okay, maybe it's a 3 3 4, right? And 6 is loose and blah blah blah. But
Yeah,
like
that's the thing is
it's
that like this hand is kind of actually annoying to parse because there's a lot of like this. These twos could be your could be your pair, or the threes could be your pair.
yeah.
Actually,
So fundamentally, like
yeah.
what it's trying to say is that like here
I actually wait.
with
Scroll
this
up on that. I actually parse this out. So personally, how I parse this out is actually the 4 5. I actually parse this out as 3. The 4
yeah
5 6
yeah
is a sequence. The 6 7 is a sequence, and then the 2 is the pair.
right. So normally, that's how you should be. Like that's how normally you should do it. But it's saying that 4.4 gives you an example of or maybe like sometimes mentally you look at it a different way, and that would kind of determine what you would do. Like the normal way would or the correct way would be. But like sometimes like the hand is complicated enough that you don't actually arrive at this one. Like you arrive at something that looks somewhat different.
Right.
So, which is normal, like because like it's not like there's no absolute. It's not an absolute science, and it's a something that comes with experience. And
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a game like this that I kind of like about this game is it's and how it goes into like Hearthstone and other card games and tactical games is that it's never like it's not like chess where there's like a clear best move. A lot of it's like playing percentages.
right, yeah, that's like when it comes to like stuff more like card games, right? Like you know how like anytime when you play any card game, like when you shuffle the deck, that's the RNG element, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like you don't know like that's what the purpose of like not seeing other people's cards and the shuffling the deck, like making the all the cards random and like that like in by default like just card games in general have pretty high RNG because like that's like any like every game is different and like in mahjong kind of the same thing like you have always playing with the same tiles but like they all like
Yeah,
shuffled
that's
and
honestly it's
whatever.
kind of like another reason why I really like Mahjong is that there's so much of that all the tiles just have so much different value on on each game based on the context of the context of what everyone else has, what the game is. Just there's so many different lenses that you can look through a hand that changes like the meaning of it. It's one of the reasons why I really like the game. There's just so much depth to it.
Mhm. So for completeness, this 4.3 here, like we like if you break it into this banner, then we see that which block is the 4 tile block, and here that would be like that like standard cut would be 6 mon here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like so you get a pair here. You have 3 3 4, which is a good shape, and then like these are all good shapes, and
Yeah, I always try to look at it as when I'm trying to cut tiles, I try to see, okay, if the tile like next to it is like, so we're cutting the 6. I look at it as like, okay, the 6 connects the 3 or connected to the 5 and the 7. Well, we're still accepting the 5 with the 3 3 4 as in like as a way to progress our hand. And if we get the 7, that doesn't really change anything because we're still waiting on a second tile there, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so this hand, like we recognize, like once we cut the 6 mon, that it's Ishan hand. Like there's usually like we just want to go for the win here. Like if you have to go, like for example, Honitsu, yeah, then you have to throw like all the 3 3 4 away, which would take absolutely forever.
Yeah.
Unless like, you absolutely need to do it. Like if you don't do it, you don't have enough value, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just cut the 6 mon, draw the right tile, Riichi, and win. That's the fundamentally that would be the strategy for this hand. So there's some examples here, like viewers can just work it out themselves. So that's kind of the
Yeah, I definitely, for those who haven't read the book, I highly recommend doing the examples and literally actually taking the time to not read ahead, stop at the example. It'll tell you what do you discard, and then actually taking the time to do it. I did that on stream and it was very informative.
Yeah, so like when we talk about 5 block theory, there are actually like fundamentally 3 different scenarios, right? So like we talk about 5 blocks. Like the first scenario is that you start out like you have exactly 5 blocks, which is ideal. Like,
Yeah.
like you just have to complete them and win, right? That's the idea. Okay. The second scenario is like this. So like you have 6 blocks here. Uh, like what happens is after when you see something that looks like this, is you have to choose to break off something. Like
Yeah.
you like at the end you need 5 blocks to win, and this is what drive if they don't understand 5 block theory, this is where people tend to get stuck, is that at the end at some point like your hand just makes like perfect sense, but like you don't know what to cut. so
Yeah.
like so here, like we looking at like right at this particular example, we talk about like an overlap here. So like you see how like 4 5 and 7 8 are both waiting for the 6.
Yeah,
So
that's something I've run into too, where it's yeah, and I remember it's like, okay, you have to it's not enough to just get 1 6. You need to get another 6 potentially, or like 3 on the other side. Is that if when both sides are, or when 2 blocks are both waiting on the same tile, it is like less efficient essentially.
right, like basically the reason is because like if you have like a normal run man without like the overlap, then you're waiting for 8 tiles, right? Like waiting for 4 8 9s and 4 6s.
Yeah.
Like if you have like a 2 run mans that look like this, then you're waiting for only 3 types of tiles, 3 6 and 9, right? Which like normally if you just do it, like you just have something like this, then normally you're waiting for 16 tiles or 4 types.
Yeah.
But like if you have this, then you're only waiting for 3 types or 12 tiles. So which is why the normal cut here would be 7 8. So
Right.
we also want to talk about just very quick briefly. I don't even see the example actually. The idea that we don't want to make any of the blocks too weak. Yeah, I don't see a good example here.
Oh, this actually kind of like made me think of one point that I wanted to like kind of like think about in terms of like improving my play. I definitely find myself in scenarios, say in like within the first 6 discards, where I'll have like maybe I'll have a 1 2 of bamboo, and then I also have like a floating 6 of like dots.
Right.
But I'm always in that like crossroads of like, okay, within the first 6 discards, that 6 has a lot of acceptance to be able to accept more tiles. So I don't want to get rid of it immediately. as opposed to like the 1-2 of bamboo where it's a terminal weight. Like, yeah, it is one tile away, but the tile that I'm going to get off of it, it's kind of harder to get.
Yeah, that's fundamentally can get pretty hard. Like there are like it's all very scenario specific.
Yeah.
Like there are sometimes you can break the 1-2, sometimes you cannot. That goes also into 5-block theory in that if your hand is already short on blocks, let's say your hand only has 4 blocks, then if you go and break the 1-2, then your hand only has 3 blocks, right?
Yeah.
That makes it like even harder to win. So you don't want to do that. Ideally, you want to wait until you get 6 blocks and then you do it. But sometimes like okay, you break the 1-2 and it's Tanyao. So there's also Yaku considerations and stuff like that. But like fundamentally speaking, like you do want to win pretty much as quickly as possible. Like that maximizes your winning chances and gives you like a high like a positive EV in the game. Like once you get to Tenpai, like your expected value is positive.
Yeah.
Like, so like you do want to and it is a 4-player game. Like you want to get to Tenpai before other people, and then be able to win before other people do, obviously, because like you could have the best hand in the world, but like if someone else wins a Tanyao, then you're done, right?
Bro, that's some trauma you're bringing back. Don't at me. Oh man, I've had so many great hands just like get one or two Han taken away.
Yeah, so like you do want to usually do want to prioritize speed, or like at least not have your hand be way too slow. Like sometimes like you just do like all these operations that just like takes forever, or like you have to draw like really ideally for it to work. Like you basically have to like break the wall and have to draw this and this to win. Like that's really hard, right?
Yeah.
So like you want to like that's called like what we call like flexibility, right? Like being able to draw different things and get those winning hands instead of like getting things locked in and have to draw exactly A and B. Like that becomes like really difficult to win. So
Yeah.
like you want to like basically like strategic level, you want to like at the beginning build your hand, make your blocks, and then at the end just complete those blocks to the win. We're going to talk about strategy in a moment, but like we're probably pretty much done with this book, and then we can talk about some like one more book, and then we can talk about strategy.
Sure.
So we finished 5-block theory here. Again, like for some reason I can't find a scenario where let me just go through this very fast. Let me see if I could find an example. It's not coming up here. I don't see it. So basically, like when you have a I'm just gonna type it in chat maybe. So let's say you have like a like let's say these are the blocks that you consider like let's say you have something that looks like this, like 1-3-3 so, and then like 3-3-4 pin, right? And you're trying to decide whether you want to throw the free so or the free pin. Usually, what you do is you usually cut the free pin in this situation to balance the power, balance the blocks. Yeah, so that's what we usually call balance the blocks, or that's what I would call, or like making sure there are no blocks that is too weak. Like you don't want to like cut the free so, for example, and make it like exactly a 1-3. Like just simply waiting for 2. Or another
okay, I see what's going on, because like, all right, you have the 3-3-4, you're cutting the 3, you still have a open weight on that block, which is really good. Where if you're cutting the 3 on the soul of the bamboo, you're putting yourself in a closed weight, which is weaker.
Yeah, you also like doing it like having a 1-3-3. You have a 6 tile weight. You're hoping to complete that first and Riichi on the good weight, right?
Yeah, so, that's the hope at least.
Yeah, which like you have to when you actually like balance the blocks, or like making sure no blocks are too weak, then you maximize the chances of like you have a 3-4 pin like right here, which is like ideally that's what you want on a Riichi. So you don't need the extra 3 here. And
Yeah.
this basically applies all the time. When you like considering like what you're cutting, right? And like your hand looks like it makes sense, and you're trying to cut something that's extra. That's the rule that comes in a lot.
Yeah, try to set yourself up so that you're on a better, like, you're basically on the open weight for whatever block.
Yeah, and try to resolve the weaker one if possible. Like let the game allow the game to draw complete that shape there.
True. True. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, so that's kind of the I think that's it for this. Let me just double check. Yeah, do we like this stuff we talk about later. Okay, we're going to open a different book. So
Okay.
let me do that. Let me do that.
Cool. Yeah. So that was the Riichi Book 1 is the only book I've read previous to this.
Mhm. Okay, so I'll share this one. Also, I'll link
Yeah. If
it
you want
in
to
the.
link it in the chat, that'll be awesome.
Okay, give me a second. So I need to find it. Uh, let me see.
Yeah. Basically, it's the unfortunate thing about like people getting into mahjong. A lot of people get it in through it through Akagi or one of the Asaki or one of the other animes where they're doing crazy, ridiculous things that are not good basic building blocks for how to play the game.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. That's part of this book. So we're gonna try to clear up some of these concepts, and again making sure we are on the same page. So I'm sharing this. So
Cool. This is Japanese Mahjong Strategy, written by Puyo, 2014. Oh yeah.
yeah. So Puyo is actually in our channel, like in my Discord channel,
Oh
and
really? Nice.
he's a 8 dan
That's
hole.
also kind of something that was like kind of crazy for me to like realize of like how actually small the and connected the Mahjong community is.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I want to talk about Puyo for a second. Like he's the person that got me into playing defense, like or playing the game properly. Before that, if no one talks about defense and you just play the game, like it's a very counterintuitive concept. Like
Oh yeah.
you just make your like just like
Yeah, you just go aggro.
yeah, you just make your hands right. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like I
Yeah,
threw
yeah,
in
it's aggro.
and
It's
then
and it's an RNG game. If you didn't get it, it's because the game is random and no other reason.
mhm. Yeah.
Oh,
So
actually, I do have a question. So we did talk a
yeah,
little bit
sure.
about like my history. What is your history with the game? How long have you been playing?
I know how to play the game since when I was 6 years old. Actually, like that was back in Super Nintendo days, like when
Oh,
you
nice.
like you have like like lots of Japanese games, like because like Nintendo, like most of the developed games are in Japanese. Like there are some games that are like translated or whatnot, but like at that time, like Nintendo was like really hot. Like it was like before PlayStation, right?
Yeah,
So like right after like the original Nintendo, there's Super Nintendo, and
yeah.
then
Super
like
Nintendo
there's
was I had one growing up as well.
yeah. But like in the North America, like it's like those are cartridges, right? Like
Yeah,
when I played, like you can actually like download these games or like just put them in floppy disk and play. That's kind of that's why we get so many games like Japanese games. Oh, I'm hearing a slight echo again. Maybe you wanna move it a little bit.
nice,
Okay.
awesome.
Okay, so like that's when I started learning and how to play, but like again, like because like no one does any defense, especially in a Super Nintendo game, but like it was a lot of fun. And then like after when Tenho was out, that was like a little more than 10 years ago, I would say.
Right.
That's when I started playing it quite a bit more. I mean,
Yeah,
I
because now you
got
actually have like people to connect with to like play against.
right. But that was like before like any streaming or any like thing. But like Puyo was he wrote a blog that like he continually updated with guides on how to play. And
Oh, okay.
once I got into it, then I understood how to play defensively and learned a lot from him for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that's kind of very similar to how like I got good at Magic the Gathering is especially like 10 years ago or so when I was like really getting into it. There was a lot of content out there for how to properly play the game. And even like there was like books written about like card advantage and like especially one of the concepts was really interesting for me.
mhm,
I play for Magic the Gathering. I play a lot of what's called the Legacy format, where it's
okay.
using majority of the old cards, not all of them, but majority of them.
Mhm,
And there's this card that's available called Force of Will.
mhm,
Do I have? I probably have it like on my desk. I have my Magic decks here, but it's a free counter spell. You just have to pay a life and then exile another blue card from your hand to counter a spell. And so
mhm.
there's so much strategy with Force of Will of when do you actually cut it from your deck against certain decks. When should you use it? When should you not use it? When should you like discard the other Force of Will? There's just so many other different like layers and strategies to it that I discovered through just reading the articles online that I would have never really thought about or like figured out on my own.
Yeah, it's like more high level play and just people like being very good players being very actually like researching and writing stuff, right? That's how we like learn and improve, right? So okay, so here we want to talk about shapes here. I think let's start with this one. Let me just double check. Um yeah. Okay.
Navitas, to answer your question, for Legacy, for a long time, I was a Dirty Delver player. But recently, I've been mostly playing Slivers just because that's just like my fun casual deck. I don't play Legacy as much anymore.
Okay, so we talk about like different shapes, right? Like just four tile shapes, the
Yeah.
ones that you see very often.
All right,
And
let's see. Most common mistake made by beginners is to see that isolated five and discard the five too early. True, so the shape should be seen as two as a 4 5 and a 5 6, allowing for 3 6 6 7. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this
yeah,
is
so just
definitely an issue that I ran into early on, and I think I occasionally still do.
mhm,
But I think it depends on that 4 or 5 6.
mhm,
If I'm like one away, then it's like I'll probably cut it. But if it's like way too early, yeah, I shouldn't
mhm.
get rid of it.
Yeah, so like this is a shape that's highly valuable, but like if you obviously sometimes you cut the five for the Riichi, or like if you have enough blocks in your hand that you don't need anymore, but then the five would be a loose tile. But like a lot of the time you're trying to like make two shapes out of this, and
Yeah,
so that's well, we are very good. Number two here, 4 5 6 7, also very good. Like you could draw like a whole bunch of things and even get into a three-sided weight, right? Like a
yeah.
3 on 8 is a three-sided weight. So like and anytime like you have like four tiles that in like a direct sequence like that, or even like seven tiles in a direct sequence, like those are usually one of the best shapes you can get.
Right.
So like let's say you have seven tiles that are like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That is really good. Like it gives the hand a lot of width for you to
A lot of flexibility.
yeah, a lot of flexibility and lots of potential. Here we have a what I call a Iron Man shape or 4 4 5 6.
Right.
This is also very common. Sometimes you reach here waiting on like a 4 7, but like it's less good because like let's say
You
you're
already
waiting
have
for
two of the fours.
right. So it's a 6 tile weight, not a normal 8 tile weight or sometimes like a 7 tile weight. This is a 6 tile weight.
Yeah.
So like a lot of there are other books that talks about like what would you do or like some exercises, and one of the rather common things is like you throw the four. That's pretty common. Like overall, it's not the 4 here is a tiny bit on the extra side. Like the value of this 4 is usually not very high. Obviously, like if you have other loose tiles, you should be doing that.
Yeah.
But like if your hand is like everything makes some sense and like you're not sure what to do, like when in doubt, break the Aura man is the saying.
Okay.
So that's something you can watch out for. Here, like we have a 5 3 5 6 7, which is also actually a pretty good shape in that it is a 3 5 plus 6 7. It also provides the hand with a lot of width. So like let's say you can imagine draw like if you need a block that you draw like a 1 or 2 or 4 or 8 or 9 or an 8, all of those will form a block,
Right. Okay.
which is
Yeah, I
why
see that.
the 3 is quite valuable in this case. So you don't unless your hand has enough blocks, this 3 is usually considered quite useful. Obviously, like it's not as good as a 4, like like that is
Yeah, that
like it
hand's
goes
yeah.
from like best to worst, right? But this is still quite decent, especially when you're trying to form another block. It gives the hand sufficient width for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's something I try to like I learned to pick up is having I always consider it like I visualize it as kind of like your hands or your blocks are also kind of like nets that can kind of like accept tiles like coming in. So the fact that this
Mhm.
3 can potentially accept a 2, like in so many other things to turn it out into 2 blocks does increase the value on it.
Yeah.
It
So
is
here,
good to like be reminded of this because like I think just because I haven't looked at some of the terminology and like the concepts, I probably would have reverted back to just discarding this 3 more often than not.
mhm. Yeah. So these are very standard 4 tile shapes, right? Like that's very like not talking about anything complicated, but like just discussing like in general like what these mean. So here, like we have a 4 4 4 5. We can recognize that as we know that's a three-sided weight, right? Like
Yeah.
if we waiting
Yeah,
on
because
that,
you're
it's
waiting
a
on the 3, and like basically the 4 can either be a triple or your pair.
right. So like here we have a 3 5 6 type of weight. However, it's now placed in number 5 for a good reason. Is that
A shape is no stranger to the blade module and gone through shy away, but if a hand is not in tempai, then the value of shape Janto plus Mentu. Remind me what Janto plus Mentu is?
well basically it's saying that like it's not going to give you 2 normal blocks. It's going to give you a
Yeah,
pair of
okay, it's
blocks.
only just going to turn into 1 block. Yeah, it can only become like your block in a pair.
Right. And like basically it's saying that like you want to complete the 3 tile shapes and you're usually less worried about like these pairs. Like pairs are easier to do because they only like consist of 2 tiles, while the other shapes consist of 3 tiles.
Right.
um Anyways, when you maybe like it needs a bit of mulling over, but like in the conclusion here, a lot of times this 5 is a little bit useless. If you cut this, you still have a 4 4 4, and that's
Yeah.
a headless each on 10. So that's usually pretty good.
Okay, Janto equals
Um,
pair. Got it.
okay. One other thing is I don't know if you I'm gonna share the video about talk about the Ishan tens. I don't know if talked with you about this before or like the different types of Ishan ten. That's gonna be your home. That's gonna be homework for you actually if you
Okay,
haven't
sweet.
seen.
I have homework. Got it.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna share this video here. So yeah, that's
All right.
gonna be something uh like we can talk about in the day 2. Yeah, this is
Okay.
gonna be homework.
Okay, the video is
Okay,
homework.
cool.
Got it.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm going to also post that in our chat just so I remember.
yeah, I did it in your chat. I'll just put it in the Discord
Well, I'm
chat.
also yeah, there it is. Cool.
Okay, cool. Okay, so after that is okay. We talk about uh, other other shapes, for example. Like you talked about the 2468, right? Or the
Yeah.
468. Um, like first of all, like we now understand sort of that a kanchan is not a bad shape. So like a 468 is not bad, okay?
No.
Because it's waiting for 5/7, but like all it does, all the problem is that it requires an extra tile to wait for two, but it overall it's not bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know it's not a bad shape, but it just puts me in that moment where it's like I feel like at some point if the rest of my hand develops and that doesn't, I just need to decide to cut. I need to cut a side of it, and is that you're making that 50-50 of like you're probably going to cut either when you decide to cut the shape, it's going to be the 2 or the 8, and you're just basically rolling that coin flip.
right. Yeah. Like even though we know that it's not a bad, but like it is awkward. Like it definitely
Yeah,
is awkward. But like knowing that though, you still have to recognize like what to do actually in a game. So you see this a lot as well. So that's like maybe you don't like it, but like you still have to be able to figure out what the correct decision is. So so we talk about like just usually you cut a side out of it usually because you keep a 246 or like you keep a 468. Usually
yeah,
you do that. Um, okay. Here we have a what we call an
yeah.
overlap.
The general like concept is that you're by default, and there's a lot of exceptions to the rules because that's mahjong for you. You want to be trimming your term, like your tiles closer to 1 and 9.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, because those are have a little less, usually have less potential because
Yeah,
it's nearing the edge. So here, number seven is 3556 is what we call the overlapping shape, right? Like a 3/5 and 5/6 are both waiting for four,
right.
and the four is the overlap. Uh, so here, like what you do here is that like you do recognize 5/5/6 is a really good shape, though, right? So you can see how like dropping the three would be a very standard operation here.
Yeah, because that's like okay, you already have like you draw the 4, like you drop the 3 because it's out of that two block. Those like those two pairs that you have. It's the open weight versus the close weight. So you rather just cut the close weight.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's pretty standard. Like you can recognize this is a kind of a loose tile in this configuration. Uh, you don't do that until you have enough blocks though. Like this three is actually like it could be overlapping, but like it doesn't mean it's like
But if you
trash.
get this early enough, you're like, okay, if you get that 4, yeah, you're still
Yeah,
waiting on
you could
another
get
4
that
and
for
7,
yeah.
but still it's an open weight, so still pretty good weight.
Yeah. So these are like overlapping does limit your potential, but sometimes you obviously you could still draw it, or you could draw a two, and that's all good, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's how these shapes work. The last one we talk about is 5566 here. Like you can think about it as like two Ranman, like 5656, right? But like
Yeah.
there's also like the chance of it being eBay call, but like usually we consider this to be a pretty bad shape in that you have a double overlap. And you can imagine just cutting like a five or a six and have the rest of it being good, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of unlikely. Like you kind of
Yeah, that's one of
if
those hands where it's like kind of like it is like it's good and it's like good and bad where it's like okay, the potential for it can be really high because you're just going to like buy base on it if you get really lucky. You're just going to get a new Peiko, so it's another Han, it's another two. The two Han if it's closed? Oh wait, no, it's one
no,
Han. It's just one hand flat and you don't get it if you reveal. That's right.
right.
Yeah, but so
So
it's got like potential to be higher, but the difficulty on getting it is really hard.
yeah, so like in when you see something that looks like this, a lot of quite a few times you probably kind of cut a five or a six, um, because like again because it's a double double overlap, and
Right.
it's hard to actually get it working. So that's why you would usually cut that off. But like sometimes like I see this shape and then like before I actually work on it, I draw a 4 or 7. That just makes the entire thing alive.
Yeah, if you're
And
getting
then,
that 5 5 6 6 early enough, I'm sure there's probably other stuff in your hand that you can cut that's like less good, and that'll probably give you the time to really get that hand formed out into something a little more solidified.
yeah. So these are kind of the 4 tile things, right? So like choosing between the different shapes is like obviously we rank them, right? Is it a bad shape? Is it a good shape? Like how many tiles are left, and what are the yakus and stuff like that?
Right.
We, that's how we try to determine the different the theories, right? Like just determine like which block to what tile to cut and stuff like that. Those are different evaluations. Next we gonna talk about defense, right? So
Right.
yeah, we gotta skip the Riichi theory for a second. That's not as important as what we need to talk about here. So okay, so okay, I'll be back in about let's say 3 minutes,
Okay.
and then we talk about defense, and we can collect questions here too. I'll just
Yeah.
yeah.
I think most of everything now is in the chat's talking about Magic the Gathering because I mentioned I played Legacy.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Let's see. Calling slivers casual. I actually did pretty well with slivers has kind of been like my pet deck when I don't feel like tryharding that hard. It's basically, I mean, slivers is definitely a competitive deck, but because it's not a brainstorm deck, I don't have to like make as many decisions during it. For this book, yeah, there's a link for it a little bit, but I'll just drop it right there again. There you go. Yeah, we got a bunch of people doing for it. But yeah, basically, when I'm not running brainstorm in Legacy, that's like I'm not trying super hard to win, or I'm trying to win, but I'm not trying to put my brain so much into the effort of winning. If that makes sense. But yeah, Legacy is really, really expensive to get into, especially these days. I got into it like a decade ago. So the lands were a little more reasonable to get. I mean, it was still no brainstorms and slivers. No, so the current list that I run, we'll actually just bring it up. What's my let's see, MTG Goldfish. All right, we're bringing up NTG Goldfish. I have a deck in here. Like 90 days. Let's go into more budget. 90 days. Slivers. There we go. So this is the most common list. Is it 4-color? Oh, okay. This is roughly the most common list. Oh god, what am I doing? By Daniel Nunes. He's kind of like the sliver pioneer of the group. He's the one who consistently does the best results for it, and it's kind of he's the one that kind of pushes the deck, and we kind of just all follow on it. He's the one that experiments the most. But slivers is now usually a 5-color deck. Just because there's so many different kinds of slivers that we want to play that are all different colors. So we'll run lands like Cavern of Souls, Sliver Hive, Secluded Courtyard. Will the stream be uploaded anywhere? So it'll be available in my VODs. I could just like straight up throw it on my YouTube. I probably should just do that. I may just straight up throw it on my YouTube without any editing. By the way, if you are new here, and I'll also might as well do my shill right now. Thank you so much, everyone who's been coming by. Hope you've been enjoying this content. Hope you've been enjoying learning a little bit more about the finer depths of Mahjong strategy. If you like me, if you like my content, please hit the follow button. It really helps support the stream. I also have a YouTube channel where I push some of my Mahjong content. The Mahjong content there is very different than what you would get in a stream. It's very edited. It's basically a lot of jokes thrown in there, a lot of memes. It's for the boomers. Because I'm not good enough in the game, that's why we're doing this strategy. that's why we're doing this in order to try to get better. I am pushing for more entertaining content than Mahjong quality.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, he's back. Okay, I started talking about Magic the Gathering, and now that they got so many things. I'll just answer 2 questions here real fast.
Okay.
Single Force Wheel is worth $100. Yes, Magic the Gathering is a very expensive hobby. Fortunately, my local play group, my local card shop allows proxies, so it's a lot better way to get into the format. And Telekinetic Sliver, he taps down a permanent. This is basically a meta call to deal with some very troubling permanents that are out there.
Okay.
All right, I think we're done with that. And now back onto the Mahjong.
All right. So we'll talk about defense, right? So before we talk about why, like how familiar with you with how to defend? Like, do you know?
So
like
basically, you try to push it. If you have an open, so kind of like my thoughts on it. If you have an opening hand and you're like 1 or 2, or like maybe if you're like 1 or 2 away from a winning hand just off of your opener, maybe even like 3, you're probably just going to try to push that hand. But if you look at your hand and you don't have any, when you go open your open hand, or when you draw your hand and you don't have any completed sequences, at that point you're probably not going to win that hand, so you should look to play a little defensively. And defensively is basically don't deal into someone.
Right.
And there's a lot of clues that you can do to determine what tiles you need to discard in order to not deal in. But there's a fine line between, okay, I have decided to hard fold like in the beginning, and you can it's kind of easy from there. But when you're trying to build out a hand, you're trying to win, but it doesn't quite work out, and then other people go into Riichi, that's at the point it's like, okay, maybe I need to switching to a defensive play. It's definitely a lot harder.
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to share this cheat sheet in your chat and also in here. Yeah, so we're gonna start without going into why. Let's start with how. Okay, so we're gonna let me share this first. So this is a defensive cheat sheet here. Let me see, how do I?
When you're doing like screen sharing, you can decide to do your like monitor, not just like what window you're on.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better if I just do it this way though.
Okay, yeah, whatever works for you.
Okay. So we have a this is all like based on when you decide to fold, right? How do you fold? So we talk about like the method, right?
Right.
You know, like the why is actually the more difficult question. Like it's a push pull type of thing. But like once you decided you're folding, how do you do it? So first of all, there's like a safety chart here that tells you like what are safe tiles, right? Like what we call Genbatsu, just throwing a tile that has been thrown against. We talk about like defense against Riichi, like just when we're kind of sure someone's in Tenpai. Like there are some situations where like you're not quite sure whether someone's in Tenpai. Like it looks like Tenpai, but like you're still kind of not sure. Like
that's also
sure.
something that I want to go into is understand, like trying to get a read on when an opponent is in Tenpai and when they're not. I know there's like, you could probably, if you're really paying attention to the client, you can look at whether they're discarding their drawn tile or not. And I know in the Final Fantasy client is actually one thing that it does kind of cooler than the Mahjong client is that tiles that were drawn and immediately discarded are kind of grayed out on their discard pile. So if they have like a string of like 5 grayed out tiles, you can derive that they're probably in Tenpai without calling the Riichi or with their like called a tile. But lack of that, I don't have a good sense of like how to read when someone is in Tenpai.
Yeah, so like the situation is kind of like this. Like it is a 4-player game, so if you like have to focus on 3 players, like and like also your own hand, like you could get easily get overwhelmed, right? Like
Oh yeah,
it's a
there's
lot of
definitely moments where I focus on discarding and avoiding discarding from the person to my left, only just to immediately deal into the right.
right. Like it is like the best you could probably do is reduce your like just make it a little bit safer, but you can almost never defend against all three players. Especially when like you aren't even sure whether they're Tempai or not, right? Sometimes they're like if the good thing about Riichi is you know that's Tempai. Like
Yeah, that's easy.
yeah, you know that, but like when like nothing is happening or like this guy made two calls, like how do you know, right? But like the more important thing is like your own hand though. Like that's the basis of your play. Like whether your hand has enough value or not, that drives or like what is the table situation or how far you are from winning and stuff like that. Those are like more important things to consider. Like like even at, like the like it's not like poker, right? Like poker, like you fold then you're just out, right? Like that
Yeah.
in my not like that. Like you fold, like you're just kind of like there's still like inherent risk involved.
Yeah,
Like it just
you're folding, quote unquote, but you still have to make actions to make sure that you don't die.
right. And like in in lesson number two, we're gonna talk about statistics, but today we're not gonna do that. Right now, we're just gonna start with how do you defend, right?
Oh, you mean
So
like statistics on like what other players have?
statistics on Riichi. So
Oh, okay.
like if you Riichi on a specific turn on some specific weights, what are your winning chances? What are
Oh,
your
okay,
losing
okay, okay, yeah.
chances? And then like when it comes to push pull, like
That's always that's actually something I kind of notice on myself because I'm actually not afraid. Like when someone does like a turn four Ricci, I'm not too afraid of it. Like I'm afraid for the first like couple of discards because you have no idea. But a lot of times people, I mean, this was also in like silver lobbies, so grain of salt. They're just slamming that Ricci button because they got it, but they may be on a really bad weight for it.
right, yeah. So silver does make things quite a bit different. Like the but then like we'll look into the numbers and try to arrange it for like gold room, like more because like those numbers are for the like whole tables, the best players in the world.
Right.
But like we cannot like it's not going to be off by that much because fundamentally the same game is being played, right? So
Yeah.
okay, so we'll talk about Suji for a second.
Yeah.
Like we talk about
Suji is a concept that I know.
yeah,
For the most part, is the idea that it's Suji plays into the Furiton rule, where if they're waiting, Suji kind of plays on the idea that they are you're on open weights where they're waiting on they have like a two block like a 5 or 6, and so they're waiting on the 4 and the 7. Well,
right,
if they don't call, if they've discarded the 4 already, they wouldn't be able to call the 7 because their 4 could have won.
right,
And that's kind of
and
like
that
the trick of it.
yeah, that's called like we call that like the Riichi through return, right? Like whatever thrown after the Riichi is the relevant or is what we use for defense, and
Right.
also like obviously the tiles that are in the Riichi player's discard, and like both of that add together, like all the tiles in their discard plus whatever
Wait,
is
is
thrown
okay,
after.
so wait, did I misinterpret something? So say someone just in my example, they have the 4, they have the 5 and 6 in their hand. Um and they've discarded the 4
Right,
before the Ricci.
right.
And then they Ricci. Is the
Mhm.
7 considered Suji against that? Is it
Yeah.
considered
Yes.
safe or no?
Yeah, it is considered safe. Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't matter at what point they discarded that 4.
Yeah, there are two different like things, right? Just to be very clear. First of all, is the Riichi player. Let's say some some person declares Riichi, right? So all the tiles that are in their discard um, can be used for defense. Like basically, either throwing the tile, like they've thrown a 4 before, so you throw a 4, like the Genbatsu type
Yeah.
of thing. Also, the Suji also applies, and then going and after the Riichi, going around whatever is thrown after the Riichi. Um,
Yeah,
is
everything
also
after the
used.
Riichi is safe because they would have wronged
Yeah.
it. Is there is there ever like a scenario, like I'm sure there is, where someone doesn't run on a thing, they lose the foodie, they lose that one interval on it just to hit a particular player to try to get them? It seems really bad, but have you ever seen that before?
Well, first of all, like if like let's say someone reaches and they can't do that, right? Because that's called like the Riichi Fruitan, and it's a permanent Fruitan.
Oh,
Like
it's a
basically,
permanent foodie 10. Oh, okay.
yeah, basically like if you Riichi and then you pass on a win, then you have to simul it. Like you can't just doesn't matter how many turns pass after that. It like it is a permanent Fruitan.
Oh, okay. That, all right, never mind then. Oh, now I
So
know.
what you said there was more like let's say someone did not Riichi, then they could do that, like because then that would be a temporary Fruitan. Like
Right.
let's say for some reason they didn't like their weight and didn't uh, just didn't win the one hand, and then like they draw the correct tile and then they recheat. Still waiting for that kind of waiting for something like let's say it was a 4 weight before, now it's waiting for 4-7, but it was a temporary fruit, so you could actually do that. But like after the recheat, that never happens.
Oh, okay, word. All right, cool.
Okay. So we talk about Riichi just specifically. We're looking at the cheat sheet here, right? Like the Suji section on the cheat sheet, and it's pretty clear here. Like the discarded tile is a 4, then 1 and
Yeah.
7 are both Suji. It's a 5, then 2 and 8 are both Suji.
Yeah.
6 and 3 and 9. They always separated by threes. That's the concept of a Suji. Um, then the next line says a discarded 8 does not make the 5 safe.
Yeah, because it could be a 3 and 4 side. It could be
Right.
a 3-4
Yeah, waiting for
that's in their
2-5.
hand that they're waiting on.
Okay. Then the next one is if both 8 and 2 are discarded, the 5 is Suji.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of the concepts for mahjong is like once it's explained to me, it's like, oh, that totally makes sense. But I wouldn't know to look for it unless someone like
Right.
pointed it out. That was like I think that was like Suji in general. Like it made sense to me once someone pointed it out.
Right. It would never make sense if it's not mentioned. Uh, like you wouldn't know that's a defense concept. Um, so yeah, either way, like we always look at it from the out like inside to outside, right? Like an 8 does not make 5 safe, but a 5 does make 8 safe.
Yeah.
Or like for the 5 to be Suji, then it has to be on both sides.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So the next one is what we call the Kabe or blockade. Using the fact that we know that in the game, it like every tile has 4 copies, no more, no less. You can always account for them. Like you don't unless someone's cheating and hiding tiles. Like every tile has
Fortunately,
4.
Mahjong Soul doesn't allow for that I'm aware of.
Right. And you will never get the 5th copy of your tile. If it ever happens, please report the bug.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna read it from here. Suppose all 4 of 2 pin are visible to you, then none of your opponents can have a 1-4 Suji weight or a 1-4 weight because like all the 2s are done, all the
Yeah.
2s are exhausted, making 1 relatively safe because no one can make a 1-2-3 because
Yeah.
the 2s are
Relatively safe because like you never know that they could be on like a single pair weight.
right. And people actually trap that, right? Like
Yeah.
they do it on purpose sometimes, but yeah. But in terms of statistics though, right? Like we're not talking about like traps, which can happen like at
Yeah,
any
well, I mean,
time.
that's always like that's kind of like the in terms of like fighting games as we talk about. That's like this is the level 1 of the Yomi of
Mhm.
being able to like, okay, here's the base rule of it, and then you go into the, well, what's the counter to that, but then what's the counter to the counter, and then that's kind of like the rock paper scissors of fighting games I could go into for like forever. But yeah, it's kind of a similar concept of you have the base rule, then you have people trying to take advantage of people following the base rule.
Yep. Yeah, that's like you always meta, like there are some always like meta considerations once you get into like get good at the game, like for any game, like you don't just follow the base rules, right? You have to
Yeah,
figure out some counters and like think more deeply.
yeah. You eventually get to a point where you play the player, not the game.
Okay, so here that's what a blockade or a cabe, like KABE. That's the concept. Um, and these are all based on like fundamental like rules of the game. Like
Yeah,
that's why these are so reliable, right? Because they
yeah. It's
like
just
you
like
have four
how the rules
copies
of the
of
game play out that these work out.
right. And so the no chance, right? So if the blockade is this is a chart here that you can actually just look over.
Right.
If the blockade's on 2, then it's 1 safer. If the blockade's on 3, then it's 1 and 2 is safer. If the blockade's on 4, then 2 and 3 is safer, and so on and so forth. Like these middle ones are a little tricky to understand, but like it's
Okay,
basically
so if we're looking at a so if we're looking at the sequence of like 1 through 9, one, if you have a blockade of basically 1, 2, and 3, basically everything in the on the outside tiles of it is safe. So it's the 3,
right.
the 1 and 2 is safe. But once you get into the 4 and 7, it's the tiles that are connected to them.
Yeah, so 4
Okay.
and 6, right? So
Yeah.
like yeah. Um and then like 5 is a special case. Basically, like if the 5 is exhausted, then like you cannot have a 4-5 and you cannot have a 5-6,
Right.
which means 3 and 7 is relatively safe.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. Yeah, that's just
That's kind
something
of
I gotta just like memorize.
yeah, it's kind of a special case here, but shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so one chance is like when a tile is there's one left. Like no chance is when all of them are visible and exhausted. One chance is when 3 of them are visible. One of them is somewhere in the wall, or you don't know where it is. But like one chance blockades are also relevant because it helps on your defense.
Right, right. It's like okay, it's not. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can like definitely get this image, but this is like a little cheat sheet,
Yeah,
right?
and
So
if I people are requesting that I push this to YouTube. Well, one, are you okay with that?
yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll have links in the description for every like slide and book and everything that we talk about.
Well, actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure these are all open, like usable. Like, there's no like DMCA or anything on any.
No, there's no DMCA on like the content that you're doing. I was just asking because like one, I did pay you for this lesson, so I didn't know if you wanted it to be a little more exclusive.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay either way. I mean, it's fine.
Good to hear.
Okay. So we talked about how do we defend, right? Like that's kind of the easy part. Like once you do it a couple of times, understand the theory, you can do it. Now we're gonna go back to other like on the why and when, right? Just like more.
Right.
Okay, let's do that. So back to here. Okay, so you see this defense theory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do we want why do you want to defend? Japanese mahjong can be said to be the mahjong that pays the most attention to defending. Basically, regardless of the depth or tactics or ratio of defending, when it comes to defending, it's a champion of all mahjong. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you played any other. You probably not. Any like there are other like there are viewers here that have played like all types of other variants of mahjong. Like
I'm
no,
aware of some of the. I haven't personally played any of the other variants, but I'm aware of. I think of most of the rules that are different between Japanese and Chinese mahjong. I know, like Chinese mahjong, there is no Fuditen rule, so people just like you, and you just basically just call. There's no Yaku requirement, so you just basically form a winning hand and just call everything about it.
Yeah, there are very many different variations, and we no one's gonna know all of them, or we're not gonna get into that. But like, we're just gonna talk about a little bit about like what's specific about Riichi Mahjong and how that affects various different things. So first of all, like Riichi Mahjong for number one is that you do recognize like as a game, like your discards are always in front of you.
Yeah.
In the vast majority of other mahjong variants, all the discards are actually like with like in the middle of like a huge pile.
Yeah, because they don't matter.
Yeah, they don't. You could see what is discarded, but like they don't keep track of
Yeah,
who
the
did
order
who
and
did
who
what.
did what like doesn't matter towards the game.
Right, and that's one reason why like defense doesn't make much sense there. Number two reason is a lot of variants. Rishi being probably the one of the fewer exceptions. When you deal in, you don't have to pay the entire amount.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you pay like maybe like 50%. Like you basically like that's you deal in that case, right? Like in Riichi Mahjong, it's punishing because you have to pay the full amount.
Right.
And let's say you pay 8K, that's a swing of 16K to the person you deal in, right?
Yeah, it's
That's a
huge.
huge. Yeah. So at the end, like considering these things, like it is important to be able to defend and not like use the rules and tools available to play defensively and like
Yeah,
play a
it's better.
balanced game.
It's better to like pay like 1,500 points or maybe even 3,000 points because you play defensively and weren't in Tenpai, or
Mhm.
compared to dealing into someone and losing all of your points.
Yeah, there's also a cost of just you can't like it is an offensive game. Like you can't like like the most games that you play, like you can't just defend and
Yeah,
expect to not lose. Like like I don't know, like in basketball, for example, like you can't win the game if you don't score hoops, right?
yeah.
That's
Well, so there's a concept in Magic the Gathering or in like card games where it's as in play the idea of playing to win versus playing to not lose.
right.
Where yeah, like you could do a line of plays that could like that like kills their guy, or like say you like wipe the board or something. It's like cool, you prevented your opponent from beating the game, but you killed your guys too. You're not going to have a way to, he's going to potentially rebuild faster,
Mhm.
and you're just going to be back in the bad spot. Where as opposed, that's playing to not lose, whereas playing to win, it's like okay, you're not going to wipe the board because you want to keep your creatures around. Your creatures are the only thing that are going to allow you to win the game, so you need to make sure that they stay alive.
Well,
Uh,
Magic the Gathering is a very special case though, because
yeah.
like you could actually like deck someone out, or like you could just counter spell like all day
Yeah,
and
I
just
mean,
deck them
there's a
out.
lot of like there's a lot of rule variance to it, but it's still that
Yeah,
idea of playing, like doing your lines of play with the idea of this is how I'm going to win the game and actually like
right,
get the W, as opposed to just making sure that I don't lose.
right. So in Mahjong, like when you start defending, right? Like there are a couple of scenarios involved, but none of them will net you any points because you're full folding. At the end, you're no 10, and you like if it gets to a draw, like you would probably be you need to pay the penalty, and if someone simmels, then you pay the penalty. The best scenario there is if someone reaches and then someone else deals into the Riichi, then you
Yeah,
don't lose anything, right? That's the best scenario, but it's also usually the least likely scenario. So we talk
yeah,
about
especially
that,
in high level games, you're not going to assume that people are going to deal in.
right? Like most likely, the person's gonna simmel, or it's a draw and you lose points.
Yeah,
Yeah. Either way, that's also a little bit of a tad tidbit on like you can't over defend either. Like it is at the end an offensive game, but like you do have to at the same time you do have to understand how do you defend and when do you do it, but like don't overdo it either. Okay. So
right.
okay, so like there's like if there is the situation where like if someone else comes from like other mahjong backgrounds and they start playing Riichi mahjong, um, they might find this kind of mahjong boring. Yeah, it is like you see people like folding all the time and all that stuff. It's like why do you even do that, right?
Mm.
Like I've seen I'm sure like some people have came in to and ask you like why did you do that, right? Like, I mean, like sometimes like you're just fold, and I have to explain. Oh, I'm folding here because someone called Riichi, and my hand just will not win, and therefore,
Yeah, I don't want to die. I don't want to die here. I don't want to pay all these points.
mhm. Yeah. So there's that. So that's about like the why aspect, like especially like just fundamentally like the philosophy behind it, like why we even care about defense is because like if they have to pay the full amount and the game allows you to do it, and you better like for a good player you
Yeah,
you
there's also I like relating all the mahjong concepts to all the other concepts I've learned from other games, because this isn't mahjong isn't the first game that I've tried to like get good at. I've like there's a bunch of other games I've gone through the process of like being trash at the game to be, you know, able to be okay. Like I'm always very modest on it because I always compare myself to like the top players. But like being able to be like absolutely not know how you're playing the game to know how you're playing the game. Maybe you're not quite good at it, but you're understanding. One of the concepts in fighting games is at the very high levels and also like mid to high levels, the more someone is okay with nothing happening, they are generally in a better spot in the game.
mm,
So it's kind of like plays. I think they kind of like plays into it. It's like, yeah, you're just drawing a lot, but the drawing plays to your advantage over the course of the game because you're not doing reckless things to put yourself in a disadvantageous situation.
mhm. I mean in fighting games too, right? Like you know how like beginners like just press buttons, right? Like those type of fighting games like people like can actually like win against another player just by hitting the right buttons at the right time or whatever, right? But like good players, like you have to like do a lot of other things and be able to
Yeah,
play, and like, you won't
there's
be able to just slam buttons and win, right? That's the like
yeah,
the
there's
understanding.
a lot of different levels between like what your like how you play the game of a fighting game depending on like what your level is. It's
Mhm.
like, I mean, we're talking about mahjong, so I won't go into this too long. But there's like so many different layers of like, okay, now you're not just hitting buttons, you're just hitting a button intentionally because you know, oh, they jumped at me, I need to hit this button to knock them out of the air. That's already at putting yourself at a level that you wanted even before, and then it plays into that, and there's a lot of layers. There's a reason I got into mahjong through fighting games
Mhm.
because there's actually fairly similar concepts between them.
Mhm. Okay, so another thing about Riichi Mahjong, right, is that there's a position battle going on. In basically all other variants, basically, like let's say you go in and you bring some money to the Genso and
Mm-hmm.
play there, and like you deal in, you lose money, you win money. Like it's not about like the positioning of like
Oh,
relative.
of like, oh, it's not about like if you're in first or fourth place.
Yeah, that never comes into play. Like you always like if you deal in, you know how much you're paying, and at the end you just leave. Like you
Yeah,
don't
you just do
calculate
that.
your
Yeah, it's a lot more
position.
like yeah, it's a lot more like poker or like any other like casino game.
Yeah, so here like what's special about the like in like you know like in that also come like goes right into Mahjong Soul, right? Like you
Yeah.
know how like how much you win matters less, and if you get fourth place, you're screwed.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if
that's something I keep saying. Where is that like second and third place, like, and when you're trying to like level up and like climb rank, second and third place don't matter that much. It's always about the first and the fourth place.
yeah, you're trying to avoid fourth, right? And
Yeah, just don't get
well, it's
fourth.
mostly avoiding fourth because
Yeah,
it's so
yeah, don't get fourth. Like second and third, like yeah, you're just gonna go up a little bit or
bad.
down a little bit. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But if you get fourth, you get knocked down quite a bit.
Yeah, and basically that basically comes from like this very specific aspect of the game, right? Just how position matters. Like this is basically almost the only one that has this thing going on. Um, so here, like when we talk about position, right? So that's why like understanding points is a bit important because
Yeah.
like at some point, like when you at like near the end of the game, like you're trying to determine like what do you need to do to win or what do you need to do to not lose. Like sometimes you win by 100 points. Like it doesn't matter if you win by 100 points or 10,000 points. I mean, a win's a win, right?
Yeah, first place is first place.
Yeah, first place is fourth place. Fourth place is fourth place, right? I mean, like there's no other way of there's no avoiding that. Like the position matters like a lot more significantly than how much you win.
Yeah,
So
the only scenario that I've been in where it's like points matter is I mentioned before that I was in did a lot of Final Fantasy mahjong for a bit, and so occasionally we do people in the Final Fantasy community do like tournaments,
mhm.
and that's like over the course of like a couple of like 3 days you have to play like 6 South games,
Mhm.
and shout outs to the Final Fantasy community for running that. They're awesome for it. But in that point, it's your how many points you win by does determine your positioning in like how well you did in the game or like compared to everyone else. So especially when you get towards the end, it's like, okay, it may not be enough to just get first place. You have to get first place by X amount of points.
Yeah, that's more like a tournament related
Yeah,
thing
that's
to it.
definitely completely tournament related. But that's also I love that aspect of it. It kind of reminds me of like when you're playing a roguelike game where it's like, okay, I not only have to think about the context of this game, but the context of everything else I've done previously and how that may also influence what you do or not. I don't know, I think that extra layer of like an axis of decision making is just really cool.
Mm,
And
yeah, I
I'm just
mean,
geeking out over the game at this point.
okay, so yes, we talked about positions, right? So we talked about just understanding that's part of the game. That's why Mahjong Soul is designed that way for ranked, for example. Now this is also kind of important. Like for example, like this 3.2, right? Like
Mhm.
let's say you someone reaches like after a lot like things happened here obviously and someone called Riichi.
Right.
Um, what do you think their weight is? Like
Okay.
if you have to guess, if you have to guess.
Um some let's go with a 6 and 3 of characters.
Okay, that's a pretty good guess I would say. Um,
Yeah, I'm
like
deriving that because well they've already discarded a bunch of the dots, especially in the
mhm,
middle dots. So they're
mhm,
probably not waiting for that unless it's like randomly they're waiting on 7 and 9 or something.
mhm,
Or
okay.
they probably really can't because of the 6. Um they didn't discard any bamboos until their last one. So they're
Mhm, mhm.
probably not waiting on a bamboo. I don't know. It's just that how I'm more just looking at like what triple sequences or
Mhm.
like 3 tile sequences are kind of open and available for them, and that's kind of where I got that guess from.
Okay. I think that's not a bad guess, but it's actually kind of a trick question
Mhm.
in that it's supposed to like I'm just gonna read this right here.
Yeah.
The numerous mahjong books available all have theories related to discard reading, where they attempt to read the hand of the opponents just based on the discards. In most mahjong mangas, there are scenes where the opponent's weights are accurately read. You know what those are, like
Yeah.
Akagi, right? However, reality is cruel. A situation where you can accurately read the waiting tiles of an opponent just by reading the discards is impossible.
Yeah, I call that the soul read, where it's like, okay,
Mhm,
you have no concrete evidence
Right.
that they are waiting on a certain thing, unless like tiles play out in a certain way. You just have to you just have to read into their soul across the internet and be like, no, this is what you're doing. It's really just a guess at that point.
Right. Like there are others. Like you have to recognize. Like we talked about Suji and Kabe before, right? And Genpatsu. Like
Yeah.
those are the reliable theories. Like when we try to have none of those, you're kind of like thinking about other things, right? So like here, like one of the concepts is like this 6 soul Riichi tile. Some people think, oh, maybe they're waiting. They have a 5 6 6 fold a 6, therefore they're waiting for a 4 7 soul, for example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like that's statistically proven to not be reliable. Some people don't
Okay,
know
so
that.
the idea was that like because like they discarded this like 6 of bamboo, which is like relatively valuable. The idea is that it was probably a part of a potential sequence before the Riichi,
Right,
and that's kind of like where they're getting that. That makes sense.
right. But like it took a lot of statistics and stuff, but it's proven to be unreliable. Like it's not it's not statistically there's very low correlation. Another way of putting it. Okay.
Right.
The discard skills mentioned in Mahjong Strategy books could be considered impressive with just an accuracy of 30%. So you know how like we talk about Simogiri versus Tadashi, right? Like from the hand versus from the discard.
Yeah.
Um, those can be like used, right? Like people do use that, but like it takes a lot of effort, and the accuracy is not very high. Like
Right.
it is a lot of effort, and it does help in situations where like you're trying to like.
Okay, that's actually really good for me to hear and know. Where it's like
Mhm,
I come from, coming from a lot of other games where it's like, okay, there is technically like an efficient high way to do it, and it's like,
mhm.
yeah, it's good to know that even amongst the high level players, yeah, you can technically do it, but it's really hard and like not even worth like the outcome of it. So it's probably not worth it majority of the time.
Yeah, the idea is that like you like on a reach you, right? That person has a hidden hand of 13 tiles, and more often than not, you have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it could be
Like
anything.
even it could be a whole bunch of a very large number of possible combinations, a bit too many to even guess. So like you could be lucky once in a while, but like the accuracy will not in the long run it will not it will all balance out. So that's not really what we usually like. We can't rely on that. Like once
Right.
in
So
a
we don't
while
try to
we try
develop
to.
that. That makes sense.
So that's the idea about this. Like a lot of people like try different things, obviously, because like either they don't use like, but like, at the end we want to use what's reliable, and what's reliable is based fundamentally on the rules of the game and the limitations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just like you can't go around the fruitan rule, and you each tile has 4, so like those are like set in stone.
Yeah. Those are the absolute. Those are your guarantee points.
Right, and those are like the basis of your defense. So okay, so this is one last thing we're gonna talk about when we talk about defense, and then we're gonna go probably take about 15 minutes. We look at one of your logs, and then I'll give you some new ways of thinking, and then we can work on that more on lesson 2.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so this is the last thing we're going to talk about on defense. So like we know how to defend, we know why to defend. Now, like this is the different strategies when an opponent is in Tempai, right? There are
Okay.
3 different possible strategies. The first
Okay.
one is Beito Ori, which is totally giving up any chance of winning. That's just a straight like full
Yeah.
fold.
That's okay.
And
This is like completely dismantling your hand just to make sure you don't deal it.
yeah, at the same time decreasing the chances of dealing into the minimum. Of course, it's not 0. Like you can deal in somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to decrease the chance of dealing into the minimum. This is the most commonly used tactic. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is you have to recognize this is the most commonly used tactic.
Yeah,
That's actually
this is just the you turn your brain off. You're just doing things that you know that are guaranteed unsafe. You don't care what your hand looks at the end. You're just trying to make sure that you don't deal in.
okay. Yeah, that's beta ori or basically a full fold. Okay. We're gonna skip number 2 for a second. We're gonna go to number 3. You will discard any tile without hesitation. In simple terms, you're ignoring your opponent's
No respect.
right?
Yeah.
So that those are the two like major options, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's like
you're either
complete
folding
respect
or
and
you're
no
pushing.
respect.
Yeah. So in the middle, it's called a mawashi, right? While discarding tiles that have good chance to be safe, continue to proceed to Tenpai. If the tiles that you draw continue to be not useful, you consider going to Beta Ori. So like that's Mawashi, right? That's a in between move. Like you're not really folding, you're not really
Yeah,
pushing.
you're trying to like play the line of both of like you're trying to be still trying to progress your hand, but you're still trying to be smart and clever about it.
Yeah. Here, I have to continue reading here though. But if you want to be able to perform well here, you need to have good judgment. This can be difficult for beginners to grasp. Therefore, this article will only be briefly discussing this. So, like the idea is that like when you go into a situation that you might be moashiing, that often means that you're not really in a good place.
Yeah.
Um, you're kind of like forced into doing things when your hand doesn't like if your hand is great, then you're probably like just full pushing, right? Like what's
Yeah.
there to think about?
I think
And if
this
your
yeah,
hand,
I think this is definitely something that I run into myself where I feel that it's like it's like should be correct to try to push it, like try to progress towards a hand, and I'll try to do a uchi all right. Uchi
yeah, it's
mawashi.
called we just usually call it mawashi. We
Okay,
just
I
take
try to do a mawashi, and like at the end of the day, it's like cool. I got tenpai, or I got close to it. Oh wait, I actually only got like a one han hand out of this. This actually wasn't
yeah.
worth it.
Mhm. So this is the push pull evaluation, right? So like like if your hand just is two away or like it doesn't have enough value, then you should be beta ori, right?
Right.
If like you do have there's a cost to doing this around at like expected negative 1100 points or so, but like it is much better than dealing in.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
so like you do it when like your hand like has very little chance of winning and even if you win sometimes like it's not worth it, so that's what you do. This one is like if your hand is good enough, you're gonna challenge it, then you should do that. Like you chase Riichi or do whatever you need to do. This one is like the issue I see with this one is people like you're kind of like gambling here. Like
Yeah.
you like and also like you kind of like stuck between like a rock and a hard place type of thing. Like it's just you're not committing either way. I usually recommend like in your mind like being able to commit one way or another, and just like otherwise like you would be starting to gamble and then you go too deep and then it's like oh I can't fold here now, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean
also like well, first one, Reki, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you. And this yeah, when I am in these mawashi situations, it's also so mentally draining because
mhm,
I'm like trying so hard to decide okay, what is the correct tile to discard to
mhm,
do two. You're trying to do two things at once. You're trying to dodge and win at the same time, and it's just
right.
a lot harder to just mentally do, especially in Mahjong Soul where you don't have as much time to discard.
Right. And also it's like no matter what level you're at this, it is difficult. And it feels like trash when like you actually start doing this and then at the end you deal with it, right? Those ones hurt. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
like
feels the worst.
especially in your mind, you know, like you probably should be doing this. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's the regret afterwards. Like I should have just full folded.
so like I would recommend if possible like have more be more committed to like one or three and not get yourself stuck too hard on number two here.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
I like that.
complicated. It requires a lot of calculation. And, usually, like not the most recommended line in most cases.
Right.
Yeah, for beginners, that like they go into full attack too often. But like if for like some other players, like better players, they go into Mawashi too often. But like not actually like committing on the folding, which actually does take some commitment too, right? Like you're breaking up your beautiful hand,
I
and
know.
these are things like definitely even like whatever play style you're like, these are situations that will come up like every time people Riichi, and you have to decide, right? So happens a lot,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you have to be able to evaluate based on your play style, based on the table situation, and so on. Okay, so that's it for that. So the next thing is I want to look at one of your logs. So if you
Sure.
can just share a log link, and
Yeah. Cool. Let me get Mahjong Soul. Okay, we have Mahjong Soul. Well, let me back on. All right. Let's see. I have to go.
well, actually, what I
Log.
can do is this. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not here. Yeah, because we're going through them really fast, so that's why what's your game ID, like, or game name?
Uh, just Curly.
Oh, Curly.
The most recent two that I have are not good examples. One is basically I AFK'd both of them. One I was playing. The most recent one was the one that we just saw where I just dealt
Okay,
in.
I'm gonna get one that's okay. I'm gonna get this one. Okay, so okay, it happened long enough that you probably don't remember it, which is good.
Oh, okay,
So
that's probably that's probably a good way to go about it.
okay, so give me a second here. Let me okay, so I'm gonna share this, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
go into one of your logs. Okay, now is
Okay,
it
this is one of
coming
my
through?
gold rooms. Got it.
All right. So what we want to do now is that we're gonna talk about overall like big picture strategy. Okay.
Right.
So the two questions I'm gonna ask for every hand here is we're just gonna look at the beginning starting hand, and we're gonna see number one. Um, First of all, how good is this hand? That's the number one question. And number two, this question number two is which way are we going about with this hand? For example, like you see a hand that looks like this. Number one, like what? How good do you think this hand is?
I'm not too thrilled about this hand. I mean, it's
And
okay. I mean, it's okay-ish. We have so looking at this, um, on terms of my honors, we have a dead honor tile. I mean, we have like we are an East game, so I can hold on to these like East Winds and Green Dragon for like a little bit. We have a pair with the 2s and the 8s, and we have like a 5-6 sequence.
mhm,
That's
mhm,
about it. I would say this hand is about mid, like
mhm,
in between. So like on a 1 to 5, being 1 is a complete trash, 5 is like god hand, is like
mhm,
amazing. I would
mhm.
say it's about like a 2.5.
Yeah, that's a very accurate evaluation, actually. Yeah, yeah, you got it right on the nail
Yeah,
on the head. Because like well, first of all, let me give you a few statistics here, right? So an average Pai Pai, or like this, has an average Shantan of around 3 point. So it's either a better than average would be a 3 Shantan, a slightly worse than average would be a 4 Shantan. Obviously, a 2 Shantan at the beginning is
right.
good. One Shantan is great. We know that, right? Like
Yeah.
the lower it
So
is, the
I think
better.
that's something that I'll also need to do on my end, because I know a lot of people, they look at their hand and they look at it as like how many they are away. I
Mhm,
kind of am I kind of look at it the same but a different angle. I look at more of how much of my hand is already quote unquote completed, as in how much of it already has like the blocks or the sequences that are already done.
Okay.
So when I look at this hand, none of the 3 tile sequences are done, but some of them are very close to it. That's how I kind of got that 2.5.
I see. Yeah. So what direction are we going with this hand then?
Just autopilot it for a little bit, do on discard, and just kind of see where it goes from there. That's how I kind of approach these.
Yeah. I mean, the more important thing is it is probably going to be a Riichi. Like it's like you could be drawing one of these honors and go that way, but like
Yeah, but we're probably
you
gonna
probably
Riichi it. Yeah.
don't want to open this hand probably at all. Like if you call something, it's going to be one hand. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah.
the hand is like 2.5. You could just pose and keep it close and play it that way. Okay, so next one. What do you think of this one?
Oh, this hand's sick. Only just because we're on the double east and we have 2 east already. That's the only thing I looked at before I just said this hand is sick.
Right. So like the direction I would think is like you want to obviously call this and then after that call other things, right?
Yeah.
Like in Gold Room though, like you probably like, I mean, would you call anything else before you call this east?
That's always a thing that I'm like very like. I think personally, my play style, I was very against calling other things before I got the east, because if the east, especially because I have 1 and 2, like I have all these like terminal sequences and all these insides. If I don't get this east, I don't have a Yaku. So I would normally be kind of afraid to do it. But on the other hand, I'm a sucker for a double east.
Right.
For being on the East game, East dealer, we have that. Like I probably do, because I mean they'll probably discard an East tile, right? Right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I know, yeah.
I mean, okay. First of all, like
I probably wouldn't call any of the tiles until I got the East for this.
Okay, so my idea here is that like it is East 2, you are the dealer, it is an East game, like you don't have all day, right? Like
Yeah.
you are behind now. You dealt in the first one. You're behind by 3,900, right? So like you can't sit back and not do anything, okay? But at the same time you do have to throw a few tiles. Like you do have to throw this south. You probably do have to throw like one of these things. How I would approach this hand is that I would probably make sure I have 5 blocks. Like make sure I get like maybe a 6-7 here.
Yeah.
Like make sure everything else is ready, and like you also recognize that like if you don't call anything, and like East doesn't come soon, then like this 1-2 waiting for free, this 1-2 waiting for free, that's very very hard. Okay.
Yeah.
So like what I would do is like let's say I draw a 6 pin very fast and then I throw the 8 pin, then I'll start calling. I think that
because now
like,
you have enough blocks to kind of start calling stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I like usually don't really want to do what we call Atasuke, or like just having no Yaku and waiting, like having that like in limbo. But like in this case, you are playing from behind and it's getting kind of near end of game already. It is an East game, so you do have to play a little more aggressive than usual.
So like my progression on like my idea behind like calling your tiles before you have your confirmed Yaku, I was at least for the past like so I've been streaming for, let's say, almost a year now for like actually playing this. Between basically up until this last year, all of 2021, I was in the camp of like, no, don't, like that's the scrub move, that's the easy move, don't do that, it gets you in trouble. Now I'm starting to come around. Starting to come back around to it. Where it's like, well, yeah, there are situations where you can start calling the tiles before you secure your Yaku.
Yeah. Like this one, like you do kind of want to call like the threes here, like
Yeah,
because
because
they
like the
are
chance of you getting a mother, like the opportunity for you to get them are so low that's like, okay, if the left player does drop a three, I probably would take it in this situation just for
right,
the sake, just for opportunity cost.
right. Yeah. So these are things that will happen when you're playing from behind, right? Like if you're ahead, then you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's just um like because like you do the like in Atsusuke's for example, like you are depending on someone dropping this ease, which there are two left. You don't know, like you have no idea, right? It could be anywhere. It could come like really late. Then you're kind of completely stuck.
Yeah.
So you're not like this quality of these hands. Like there is value, but like it's slow. Like like the blocks aren't great, right? Like it's just so like so there's that like those things you balance. You try to balance in your game, but like, at the beginning, like what I'm trying to get at is you look at your hand and you try to determine what the direction you want to go.
Right.
And because at the beginning the game does give you a few more seconds, and then like you kind of know what the discard is. Like you discard self, but like um you want to take a few more seconds here just to make sure you in your mind you have some direction of what you're doing, so that like when you actually get into the tactics, then you don't lose your direction. Like you want to get your strategy straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daisuke has a question in the chat that I'm actually interested in. How long should you wait on Atozuke?
Yeah. So like here, like I do want like these frees I would take, right? Like, but like this 5/6, you don't have to take that. Like that's kind of the difference here, right? The 5/6 you kind of just want to complete it yourself, and ideally,
That's
if
actually, yeah.
possible, you do want like one of these to complete, and it the expected like it shouldn't like, take that long. Like like you have to be really unlucky not to get the fifth block
Yeah,
somehow.
I think that's actually gonna be one of my big takeaways from this lesson is that 5/6 right there of not I before this, if someone dropped like a 4 or a 7, I probably would have just called it just to secure that sequence. But yeah, because
Mhm,
they are fair, like it is a good weight for you to be like your
mhm,
last tile to wait on. It's probably
mhm.
worth it. It's probably like worth not calling.
Right.
So
Like the once you
that is something to consider about like the scarcity of
mhm.
the sequence like being available to you.
Yeah, once you call, like you cannot uncall, right? That's a commitment, like
Yeah,
just doing it. And like you in a lot of cases you better make sure your hand is somewhat ready, or like before you lose potential on your hand, for example.
for sure.
Okay, so what do you think about this hand?
Uh, okay. We have green dragons, which is nice. We have a Dora with like some acceptance on it, though it's kind of hard because we're waiting on the Dora indicator. So there's only 3 out there.
Right.
Uh, Looking at my position, this hand is like not that great, but looking at my
Right.
position, I'm probably trying to close. I'm trying to Riichi this hand because I just need points at this point.
Right.
I think the person to our left sumo. Yeah, they sumoed on when I was dealer that
I see.
last hand. So I'm in a bad spot here.
I
So
see.
the fact that like I can't just call green dragons and just call it a day because that's not going to be worth enough and I'm not getting
Yeah,
dealer again.
it is an East game. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
these are all going to be East games. So
okay.
I know mentally I'm reaching I'm in the point where I just need to reach hands because I need the point values.
Right. Yeah. So we do see that the difference is 6,900, right? And another important like consideration is this guy's dealer, and we need to stop this dealer. Like imagine this dealer winning, you're just that would be completely GG,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the person that I'm closest to, and they're just gonna get farther out of range. Yeah.
Right. So here, like
Alternatively, they could hit someone else super hard and bring someone even lower to me. That is always an option.
right. There are different options going on here, but like the number one thing is like if you see this guy pushing or doing anything of that sort, you need to challenge that. Okay,
Okay.
like you can't. You probably like other people Riichi, and that's fine. But if this guy Riichis, and
I got to try to
you
sneak
probably
it out from under him with this green dragon hand.
right. And the other consideration is like this green dragon here, right? So like let's say you don't pawn this, right? So this became a pair. So you have a 2-4 and you have a 5-6-7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a free block hand. So this is actually like further away from what you think. Like this is a 5 shantan hand basically, because I'll give you a quick tip on how to calculate shantans relatively quickly.
Right.
Okay, so if a hand has exactly 5 blocks, like 4 blocks and a pair, none of them complete, then it's a free shantan hand.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe
Okay.
you
Let
want to
me
write it.
actually pull up one moment. This is actually
Mhm.
something I need to do. Oh, that's my other. Okay. So I got my little notepad up here.
Yeah.
So we have 5 block, no complete. I guess one of them might be complete because I have a pair, but 3.
Well, that's like four incomplete in that pair. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, 4 incomplete block and a pair, so 3 shantan.
is free shantan. Yeah. So
3 shantan.
like so that's the number you're starting with. Like you're starting with number 3. Okay. That's important. Okay. So
Okay.
you always remember that's the default number.
Okay,
Now
cool.
this hand has as I said, like 1 pair and 2 blocks. All right. Like there's no third block. There's no like this is exactly a 3 blocks or like two blocks in a pair.
Right.
So that's a +2 because like if it's 4 blocks and a pair, it's free shantan. If it's
Yeah.
2 blocks and a pair,
Yeah, because
that's
I'm
+2.
missing 2 blocks, so that's adding
Right.
2 to it.
Right.
Okay.
That's +2.
There is shantan.
Okay, now the last consideration here is that
Okay, yeah.
if any of the blocks are complete, like you see this one is complete,
Yeah.
that's a -1.
Right.
Okay. So at the end, this is a 4 shantan hand.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
Mhm. So you're
Okay.
starting with the number 3, and then you're trying to give it a plus minus on that. Like considering like you look at how many blocks your hand has, how many of them are complete, and just do a plus minus out of 3. So like here we have a started at 3, we have a +2 because it's 2 blocks short, but one of them is complete, so it's a -1. So at the end we have a 4.
Okay, can you say that one more time so I can process it better? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We start with 3 shantan.
Yeah.
Like that's the default number.
Yeah, that's the default.
Now now we are 2 blocks short, right?
Yeah, we're
Like
2 blocks short.
yes. So that's a +2 because you need to draw 2 tiles to get to 4 blocks and a pair.
Right, right. Yeah, I need 2 blocks to get there to actually make that. Okay, okay, that's making sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So that gets to 5, but then you -1 because one of them is actually complete.
Oh, okay, okay, I see.
Mhm. So that's why this hand is a 4 shantan. Just kind of look at it and try to like you once you get the hang of like just looking at it, like like you'll figure it out shortly
Yeah,
once you.
that just takes like time and repetition to like knowing that base of like, okay, start with 3 shanten and then kind of like go from there on the plus and minus. That's huge for me.
Mhm. Yeah, so that would help you evaluate how good is this hand in terms of speed. Like
Right.
4 is a normal number that's below average. 3 is slightly above average. 5 is just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, every shantan matters a lot, right? So because it takes turns to resolve your shantans.
Yeah, it's basically a full rotate. Yeah, number of turns you get to it, how close you can get to it, and you're not gonna always draw everything you get for it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm. So here, like it's a slightly below average, but like so here, like the idea is that like even if you keep this hand closed, okay, you're probably not going to have enough to overtake this, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, probably not. Because all right, so assuming nothing else goes right, um, let's see. Assuming the rest of this hand forms out and our only Yaku is the green dragon, we have this door there. Let's say we get lucky with that. That's 2, 3. That's still only 3, 3 Han. Maybe we get without getting lucky with like Ipatsu or Underdoras.
mhm,
That's still only like 3 Han. That's still only like 56,
like,
like 4,000,
like
maybe 56
yeah,
or so.
yeah,
So that's
perfect.
still not going to be enough to like change our position unless we get lucky. And we have to specifically hit, have the person, uh, we need specifically the person in third, the dealer, to deal into us to it. So this hand by
Yeah,
itself, unless we get lucky, is probably not going to be enough to get us out of our situation.
right. So knowing that though, like the I would argue that you probably just wants to pawn this and get it done. So that when you get to e4, hopefully you get something a little better.
That's actually okay. That's a really good point then.
Like because like you could be sitting here for ages and whatever you do is still not enough. So
Yeah, that's actually a really good point to think about it. And I did not think about when I do it. It's like, oh, okay, Riichi. Like I just blanket said before, oh, I want to Riichi my hands because that'll give me more points. But now actually looking at what I would get, um, it's probably not likely unless I get lucky on underdoors.
mhm. And even if you get it, like it is still going to be a very close e4. So like
Yeah.
this is actually what we call like a hand that you just kind of want to get through and like be more banking on e4. Like
Yeah,
this
you
is
at
not
least still
going
you
to
still want
be
to try to win this hand because points are points and it
yeah.
makes it a little easier for the next hand. But yeah, this isn't the hand. I guess that's a really good thing to think about is understanding that okay, this is e4. This isn't going to be the hand that gets me out of this hole I'm in.
Right,
It might help a little bit, but it's not going to be just that.
right. So these are things that happen when you get into e3, e4. Like especially you're playing east, this happens so much, right? Like
Yeah,
this games are short. You have to try to get your health self like either like secure the win or get yourself out of the hole or anything in between. These are things. How do I get to the next position, or how do I secure my position, or what do I need to do, right? So
yeah.
yeah, so that's what happens. Like especially when you play East games, this happens a lot. So okay, so after that, okay, what do you think about this hand?
Um, hand is kind of really not that good.
Hmm.
It's not that good.
Yeah. So
Uh,
what are we gonna do here?
Uh, so we have this like west pair that's like really not doing anything for us, so we might just get rid of that. I'm gonna hold on to these dragons for a little bit. Maybe we'll get lucky and like
Hmm.
draw another one. We kind of go in that direction.
Hmm.
But beyond that is just we're kind of autopiloting discards. I'm gonna get rid of the 9 of characters. Um, what do I do here? Okay, I draw a 2 here.
Okay.
Um, I may be in a bad spot where I'm thinking, oh, this west is my pair. I've been doing that a lot lately. Um,
What do you think you should discard?
Probably, realistically, the 9 of characters.
Okay, so this is a strategic thing, right? Okay, so how do I maximize the value of my hand, right? You realize like we're behind by a hell lot, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just like no matter how you count it or whatever, you're behind by a hell lot. You're trying
Yeah.
to go for go for broke here. You're trying to maximize the value. How do we do that? We need to go
Oh,
for
we get half flush. That's
yeah, we need
true.
to go to half rush.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I should actually probably be getting rid of the 9 of bamboo.
Yeah, in this case, you probably go full out. You probably just get rid of the 5 right here. Like you're not going to use bamboos. You're not going to use pins. You just have to.
Okay, I just have to hard commit
drop.
to just not doing that, not having those times. Aw.
Yeah, yeah.
Aw, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Because like if you have these tiles and you win, it's probably one Han. I mean, that does absolutely nothing for you. So
True.
maximize value, you have to like if you're in the lead, you play differently, right? This is like a 6 Shantan hand, and it's actually trash. But like you have to.
We have to make do with it and kind of do it. Honestly, that's kind of one of the reasons why I like East games. It forces me to work with less good things.
Right. So here you have to call this, okay?
I should call
Because
the less.
Yeah, because we are going Honitsu here. We just.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I should. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have thought before to just like YOLO the half flush.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I probably should have called that, drop the bamboos and all that, and just call everything else. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So these are all considerations that like I'm trying to like get the idea that like you should think about your hand on before anything else, before anything happens. Like just strategically, like which direction I'm going, right? And then when you start drawing tiles, then tactically, you work with your blocks, you try to optimize, you try to do efficiency. But before that, it's about like having a big picture and trying to strategize and try to like make sure like for example like this hand we know it's terrible, but like you have to do
we have to do something with it.
right. So that's the strategy part of it. And once you get the hang of this, then you should be able to like go back into your games and figure out like, oh, I didn't do something correctly because it's strategic. Well, tactically it might make some sense, but like strategically, it's not the best idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this hand. Okay, what are we doing here?
Okay, so North Delta. All right, so our right player Delta. So now they're only like 4K away. If we call just the white dragon, that should just be enough to get us out of third or get us out of fourth, I think. Is that how math works? But then there's not much else to the hand.
Yeah, so what you need in this hand here is a like 47, right? Okay. The quick way of winning is obviously pawning this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no like even if you try to go slow, I mean you could try a Chanta, but like most likely or not, you need this, okay?
Yeah, like we're keeping those dragons no matter what.
Yeah. And you could start calling these things. Like you're gonna assume this is complete, okay?
Yeah.
You're either doing a Chanta or you're gonna pawn this eventually. Like you can't sit back and like miss these tiles. Like you have to call like these, and then at the end, hopefully either have a Yaku or have this pawn at the end.
Right.
Yeah. So strategically, what we need to do is like call this, call that, call that. Obviously, when the white dragon comes, you call that, and
yeah,
that's enough for not last.
Yeah, basically at this point, like maybe we can also get like all terminal tiles, and that gives us another Han for us to, because 5 Han that would be enough for sure.
Yeah, like, but if you start calling like terminals, right? Like just all terminals, that's actually open all terminals is only one Han. And then like if you have a pair of this, that's two Hans. So that adds up to three. So that isn't actually by default. It's not quite enough.
Okay, but that's also all right. But I was assuming that we called the white dragon, that we were able to get a call on the white dragon.
Yeah, if you call the white dragon, then this is enough no matter what. Like you don't need all terminals.
Oh, I don't. Oh, okay.
Like
so wait,
basically
it's four Han. So that's four Han. That would be based on my position. Is that what 52?
No, four Hans, right? Like two.
Oh yeah,
like two. Like
oh yeah.
four Hans would be almost 8, right? So
yeah, it would be almost 8. You're right. It might be 79, but yeah.
Yeah, but like either way, no matter like to your nearest thousand, like this is way more than this. Okay, so
yeah.
So like if you assume that's gonna happen, then like you don't have to do anything else. That's enough. If you don't get this, then the secondary option is all terminals, right? Like you just chi like into a chanta, like 8-9 and then 8-9 and then like 1-2-3 and then like maybe 1-2-3 here.
Yeah.
But that's only going to be 3 Hans. So what you need to do in that case is a symbol or a direct hit.
Right.
Yeah, so like these are like a little bit more precise, but like you can at least recognize that 4 Hans is definitely enough. 3 Hans is basically not enough unless you symbol or hit this guy directly.
Right.
And that's basically just from the position that 3 Hans is around 4K, and that's more than 4K. So
yeah,
that's So doesn't require very precise, but like you just need something to your nearest thousand, and you figure this out.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember how this game ended.
Yeah. Yeah. So you threw you threw that, and yeah, you went that. Yeah, that you got that. Okay.
Yeah, we got lucky there.
Yeah. Here you don't need a chanta, remember? So like.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm just going for whatever.
Yeah, here like you would like you drop this, which is not quite like what you want to do is like pawn one of these. That would be easier. Like you can call, but like if you throw this away, then you're just waiting for Kamicha to throw a 7 or a 3.
Yeah, that's probably actually worth. Yeah, that's probably a worse position for me because now I'm waiting on one person to discard as opposed to being open to all 3 people giving me my tiles.
Right. So this is an somewhat inaccuracy, but like again, just recognizing the strategy. Like 4 Hans is enough, 3 Hans is not enough. Those are things you need to look at the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't end up good for you, but
yeah, we just die here.
Yeah. But like these are things that we definitely you could definitely look at, and next time we'll look at some more and we'll discuss it. But like it's like kind of like a mentality type of thing that you could like start to work on and try to figure it out.
Yeah, it's good to know like be in a better mindset for understanding like trying to like. I think a lot of it for me is also I'm just kind of autopiloting just getting a winning hand, doesn't matter how valuable it is, until I am in a bad situation. Then I start really thinking about the value of the hand, because this whole like, okay, I need to make sure I have like this value of a hand I wouldn't have done in an East 1 of this game, which probably like is a mistake.
I mean, like at the beginning you're more like trying to what do you call it? You're trying to like maximize like or try to win quick. Yeah. So you don't get into this situation in the first place. I mean, that's like you don't have to calculate points on every game, right? Like it happens more and more importantly near the end, where like the points actually matter. Like and you have to translate that into position, right? It's not about like just points, right? It's about position.
Yeah.
In your mind, translate that somehow. Like it's just so you could actually like do something to improve your position. That's
all right.
Okay, so that's it for today. I think a little bit more about the 5 shot, like the shanten counting. Like sometimes let's say maybe on your paper or like you just bring your notepad up again. A few extra points. Okay, so sometimes your hand becomes like a 6 block hand. Like like the 6 block doesn't count. Okay,
Right.
like if you have a 6 block hand, it might look like you're but like it's actually considered like just treat it as a 5 shantan and like just treat it as 5 blocks. Like the 6 block doesn't count.
Okay.
And then the last one is that like you notice in the original assumption, right? It's 4 blocks in a pair.
Yeah.
If you do not have a pair, that's a +1.
Okay. No pair is.
Yeah, and that's basically the rules of that. If you could just organize what you typed and maybe put it in chat, maybe some people might be find that helpful. That's
Yeah, sure.
kind of my thinking on how to count shantens within the time limit given, like within 5 to 10 seconds, basically. That's kind of we're trying to like we're trying to do it quickly, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
trying to use like we're not trying to count from like from the beginning, and we're not trying to use some large numbers. We're trying to figure it out. We also don't
Yeah.
need to sometimes don't need to do it very precisely. Like you can at least like come up with a number and figure out like is this good or bad. That's kind of the idea. So
Yeah. Oh, my notes are always very like poorly written for anyone else to read besides me. But yeah, that's a loose bit for all you chatters out there, and also for the YouTube video.
Mhm. All right then. Yeah. So call it a day. We'll look at numbers and statistics next time.
All right, so to just also review on things that I should be doing before our next video. I don't know, or before our next session. I don't know when that's going to be. We'll have to figure out schedule for that.
Mhm.
But we have this YouTube video that you linked to me. Is there anything else that I should be doing?
Probably let's like at some point like looking at some of your logs and try to figure out strategically without even looking at any discards or anything, like whether like what direction or evaluate the how good the hand is and what direction you want to take it or
Okay,
what
just based off starting hand.
right.
Yeah, that's good. All right, cool. All right, that sounds good. Thank you so much, Rath, for coming on and teaching me some more of the advanced techniques for trying to get good at Mahjong. Appreciate the hell out of you. Where can all the chatters find you?
Yeah, definitely.
On...
You can definitely find me on my channel, right? I mean, do I just want to hold on? Twitch.tv/
Yeah, if you want to like throw it in the chat, go for it.
yeah,
I don't have a shout out bot set up yet.
yeah, and also definitely I got like my YouTube channel, right? Just
yeah, you have I know you have a YouTube channel where you post your VODs too. You also, I know you have a Discord, and
right.
people can join that to ask a lot of questions about the game if you have anything about that. I know a lot of the people who hang around like the Mahjong Twitch community are in your Discord, so it's a good place to like ask questions and get some really good answers too.
Right. So let me just I guess I'll put a link that yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
25 users, generate new link, copy.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want to make that link, is that a permanent link or is that a temp link?
Yeah, that's a permanent link.
Okay, cool. Because I'm gonna all these links that we're doing and like including the content that are all of the reading material and all the stuff that we went over and all of your stuff, I'm gonna put into the description of the YouTube video as well. So it'll be available for that.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, thank you so much, Rach. We'll figure out when we're gonna do another session like this. My schedule is going to be a little more open this coming month because normally I have Saturdays reserved for Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, but we're not doing as much this month around just because people are out of town. So I should have more time to do stuff.
Okay, I'll be more like usually Saturday evenings or Sunday like after W League, for example, or usually Sundays in general are pretty good.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, Rath, have a good one. I'll catch you later.
Okay, take care.
5th edition or older? No, we're playing 5th edition. All right, so thank you so much for everyone who came by. Hope you all enjoyed that. Got to, hang around, lurk around for that teaching session. Hope you all learned something. If you haven't already, please give Wrath like a follow. Go check him out. He is definitely a fantastic resource if you want to try to get better at the game. And Imoto Hana, thank you so much for the follow. What time is it? 4:40. All right, so I think I got enough time to play one. Let's see if let's go ahead and see if we can apply what we learned right now, just to make sure that we actually got some value out of this. I'm only just gonna play one game. I do have to go to the grocery store to get some ingredients for dinner tonight, but we got what, 20 minutes left? That's enough time to get into a game. So let's just jump into another East game. Oh, we can turn the music back on. Oh, and I had the sound effects. There we go. Okay. I'm just automatically discarding this. So let's see what we learned if we can apply it. So we have a block right here. This is technically a block. I'm so bad at identifying the blocks as I go. The red was already discarded, so we're gonna get rid of that. You're an old pre-first edition D&D-er? Damn, man. So I started D&D back in 3.5? 2, 6, 8, 1. I'm gonna drop this. I think we're gonna drop this 7, but we can still hold on to it for a bit. This 9 is acting as our pair. So ideally, we're probably gonna drop this 7 soon. I don't want to open this hand. Yeah, let's just go ahead and drop this 7. Well, we also have this as our pair, so we can probably actually drop these 9s at some point. Ooh, okay. So that's a sequence that we can have now. At that point, yeah. So because we have this 1, we're not calling this hand, so we're gonna reach it. Though there's not a lot going on with it. Let's see. 3, 4, 5. This 4 doesn't actually do anything. Do we get that or the 7? It's technically... We're gonna drop the 7. The idea is that both the 4 and the 7 are probably gonna go. All right, this is gonna be the hard thing, where now I have all this information that I just got from Wrath. I'm gonna try to apply it, but I don't have time to do it. So hopefully we can just try to get this kind of naturally done. And I think a lot of it is actually I'm gonna have to go back on my VODs. That's a little unfortunate. I'm gonna go back on my VODs and really look at my gameplay, as Wrath suggested. Go back to my previous games and just see how it played out and how I would play it out better. So I'm doing this thing now that now I have these bits kind of done for me. I'm just waiting for this side to progress. Ooh, okay. So now that's another complete sequence right there. I'm gonna drop this 8 now, because now I'm committing to this 9 to be my pair. Now this might be an unfortunate situation where I'm gonna discard tiles that people like. That's now a pair. Oh god, what do I do now? I don't want to drop these 9s because I may just draw it. We are still technically 1 away. Alright, well they already discarded the 6 dots, so it's fine for us. Oh my god, that's unfortunate. We drew all the 3 of dots. Could have dropped a 6 mana and kept the 4S for a pure double sequence. Yeah. I had 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and I discarded the 4. Yeah, I think that's an issue with me of where I'm not visualizing that 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and I'm like seeing, okay, I have the 6 here. That's going to be like a pair. Ooh, okay. We don't have Yaku. Wait, why can't we Riichi? Oh, why can't I Riichi? Oh, it was 1 tile left. Oh, I wasn't even noticing that. Okay, well, at least we somehow managed to sneak into Tenpai. Ooh, okay. Like a non-zero chance I get something with that. So this hand's actually pretty close. I don't have a pair yet. I gotta get that figured out. All right, and East was played, so we're probably not gonna make progress on that. Ooh, that's really lucky. All right, this hand is really close. But we can't reveal it. So we have a block right here, kind of a block right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. Yeah, we basically have 5 blocks. But it's a matter of how we're gonna get our pair. Ooh, okay. So now I'm gonna cut this 1 and 3. Because this shape is pretty good for waiting on a pair. That's interesting. I'm always so like after a lesson like that, I'm always like kind of nervous of like, oh man, am I gonna actually apply what I'm learning? Did I mess it up or not? I'm gonna drop this 9 because now I have 2 sides. I have like a bunch of potential weights for pairs.
Riichi, 楽しみ。
Not gonna take that. Oh god. What do I drop now? I guess that? Okay, everyone's going ham.
ロン、それちょうだい。リーチ、一発、ドラ。
Alright, I don't know if we could have played that better. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that they got it. Ooh, double east. I didn't actually look at this. All right, we'll drop you. All right, and we're gonna turn the text-to-speech back on. We already have so much. I think I dropped this 9 and 8 because that's gonna be a terminal weight. Though the 7 is the Dora that I could potentially accept. So maybe that was wrong. Maybe holding on to the south is not a good idea. Ooh. Okay, maybe we're actually 7 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually could be 7 pairs here. Oof, that was a decision. A bunch of people have discarded reds or characters already, so let's just get rid of ours. Okay, you took the green dragons. You could actually be really scary. Maybe they have all greens. I don't want to pawn that quite yet. Ooh, okay. Don't die. That was a really scary discard, actually. Oh, they have... Alright, we're just gonna go really quick. We're putting ourselves in a really bad situation for Yaku, but we decided to go quick about it and just try to sneak this out from under them. Oh god, they conned. That was a really good draw for us. They may also have the east as well, now that I'm thinking about it. It kind of baffles me that they go for that. That they discarded that green anytime that like someone's presenting that, it's like they're probably going for the half flush, so I'm really terrified of dropping any bamboos. This hand's okay. Yeah. All right. Dun, 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 dun. That's like a potential like block thing. North was played, so we'll drop ours. I could drop this white dragon, maybe. Ooh, that sets us up for a pair, which is kind of nice. So it's between these two. I guess I dropped the white dragon. Okay, we're dropping that now.
リーチ楽しみ
Ooh, all right. Hope it's not that.
ロン
Oh, come
それちょう
on.
だい
Sad.
リーチ一発ドラ
That's just unfortunate, I think. I didn't really have a safe tile from them otherwise, and I just got unlucky on what terminal they were waiting on, I think. Ooh, red fives? Okay, still not last. It's the important thing. We want to wait on this. I guess I can drop the
Yeah,
2.
that was just unlucky.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought. This weight is kind of really bad. Okay, I gave them the double east. And their dealer, that's no bueno. That's no bueno at all. I think we are dropping this 9 and 8. Because we're not going to call anything right now. Well, now these 9s are potentially safe. Three, 4. So we're not going to call, and one of the 9s was already played. We're going to keep this around in case we keep the 8. So do we honestly want to assume that we're going to use the 8? Okay, that's very lucky for us. Now we get to utilize this 6 right here. And so now this 8 may potentially be our pair. So I need to figure out what's going on over here. At this point, this 9's not doing anything. All right, so we're behind second place by that much. Oh, okay. Well, that's no longer our pair. So maybe we could wait on like a pair right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Honestly, I should just drop this 5. I probably held on to that 5 a little too long, just because it's a red 5.
Chi.
Did I do that right? I did not. I thought I was able to call with like the inside hand. But that may be really bad. I might have screwed myself on that.
Why even take it, lol?
リーチ楽しみ感します
Alright, we do this for content. Food eaten? We're fucked. Because I'm crumbling under the pressure. I misread my tile, and I thought I wouldn't have that lagging 8 there. And like I said, I wanted to kind of get my hand progressed. But that
T-Paname YGA trap card.
Oh god. They're gonna take a lot of points. Yeah, that puts us in last now. Alright, we have promptly not learned anything from what he just said. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. See, it's fine. We're gonna get this red 5. We're gonna utilize it to make our hand really big and awesome. It's definitely a thing to like have Wrath like walk me through all of these concepts and be like, yeah, within the abstract it like makes sense and is able to do, but like when you're actually in the game itself, you're like, oh god, I'm panicking. I guess I dropped that. I don't know what I'm doing with this hand. We have this 9-8, we have this 9-8-7 that's done. We have like a bunch of pairs. Yeah, it's an awkward situation where we don't have a Yaku. I probably should just drop this. Yeah, because we already have a bunch of pairs. And we can push our hands to be an inside hand, potentially. Okay, they called not their seat wins. This 8's kind of really bad, actually. So if we get the 6, that's very helpful. No, I think I'm just gonna drop this. This hand is not working out, unfortunately. We can drop this 6. It's been played a bunch of times already, so it's most likely safe.
Riichi.
Alright, so they called Riichi. They already played a 6. That 6 pickup for us was really good as well. We're not going to be able to utilize this red 5. Scary? Not dead, though. The 2s are safe, which I probably should just, like, discard at this point. Because this is probably... I'll just, like, make sure that this is my pair. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. Alright, 1 is safe against them. 8 is safe against them. Seven is guaranteed safe against them. Ooh, that was kind of big for us. We have to get really lucky with someone dropping the 2, and we can call it. Okay, cool. That put us in Tenpai, right? No, we don't have a pair. Fuck. Okay, well, everyone else was exhausted on it. So that's actually not that bad for us. It gives us another chance to get. It gives us more chances to have a hand to come back. This game's already taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Let's see. Maybe I should have actually dropped the 1 instead. Yeah, looking at it, maybe I should have dropped the 1.
Pon.
Alright, East was played, so we could probably drop our East, and we probably should have done it last discard. Alright, Red Dragons were played. We'll save this for a safe tile for like a minute or two. Okay, that helps us out there. We're on a double-sided weight for it, so this is probably a lot weaker. I don't think I want to call. West is played, so we can drop our West. That was a really interesting pickup for us.
C.
Okay, so now this is a pair setup for us. This hand got really weird. This hand became a really weird shape that I need to figure out how to parse out. We have 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 5, 6. Maybe we needed to call that. No, we couldn't get like a Yaku with that. Ooh, that was lucky. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. Three. All right, let's go with this. Yeah, that's probably best because we still get the only thing we're missing out on is the 3. Or like what, 2 away? Maybe that was bad. Yeah, because I threw away on the 3 getting that. We probably should have actually dropped one of these. We probably should have actually dropped this 7 right here. All right, Riichi. It worked out. Damn. Sad. Sad. That was 2 tunnel vision on my hand. Oh, okay, we got some Doris to make this comeback. Ooh, okay. We have a bunch of Doras. This is how we make this comeback. Ah, it's a little unfortunate, but it's fine. Okay, that's pretty good. Ooh, that's really good. All right, so now I think I dropped this in 8 and 9. So dropping the 9, I don't know if anything else made sense. Maybe the 7. Might have made more sense. Well, we already committed to it. All right, so now that sequence is done. Yeah, the 7 was actually a better drop than the 9 because we still get the 6 and it still turns this into our pair. Then that's where we get punished. Yeah, I'm really regretting dropping that 9 now. Like, super regretting.
Kan.
Oh no, there goes all of our 6s. Shit, how do we do this now? We wait on the 9s, all the 9s are gone. This is doomed actually, I think. So we could potentially wait on the 3 right here, Riichi. 0-3. There's only that left. We get rid of Adora. We're in last place. We just have to.
Boom.
Oh god, they called all of them. We're dead. No, the red 5. There are 4 there are 4 of the 4 of characters out there, so there's a decent chance we top deck. Oh, there's only 3 of them. I'm an idiot. It's only 3 out there. We're screwed. Damn, we could have had it with the pair.
天杯です。
Okay, waiting on 6s. Alright, that was actually not that good. That was actually really bad for us. Content? No, we can't. Force the half flush? I think we do. We're like how far behind? We're monstrously behind. I don't even know how we get out of this. We have to force something super crazy. So yeah, let's try to force a half flush. Or a full flush. Damn, we actually probably should have gone for the orphans. I think it's doomed at this point.
Half flush.
Yeah, half flush is like basically all I can go for. And just pray.
Though still not enough probably.
No, it's not. This looks super doomed. Well, mixed trip. Well, if we get like a pure double sequence with the half flush, maybe. Okay, this is starting to become a thing. Maybe we'll just get lucky and get a full flush.
Could hope for East to ride West into the Shadow Realm, but I don't know D.
Yeah, we're basically living on a prayer at this point.
C.
Holding onto the dragon / wins too long.
It's more of like trying to just like get some sort of half flush. Or like some sort of flush going because we need points. I mean, it's kind of it was a doomed position from the looks of it. I mean, okay, all the ones are gone. So we can't get the pure double sequence. This looks doomed.
Pure straight though.
Maybe. Like, there's so little that we can do with this. Especially this late in the game, I think we're just basically dead.
0 NVM. The winds / dragons are double-edged. They are a point for you, but they're a point for other. It's also a dead tile that doesn't connect.
I don't disagree with any of that, but we're in last place in East 4. Yeah, and this guy 404 just like cleaned house. Maybe completely sends him to Shadow Realm? No. Alright, that's unfortunate. We dealt in on a really bad one. Not much you can do about that. Promptly got overwhelmed by everything we thought we learned and just didn't apply any of it. Alright, but that's gonna be it for me for today. Thank you everyone who came by. Hope you all had a good time having some lessons with the Mahjong
Yeah,
Master.
that was hard rip. That one early 1p discard was super unluck.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just kind of, I mean, that wasn't that bad in terms of like how much it did. It just set the tempo, which is like flow tempo in this game is super important. All right, but that's going to be it for me today. I am going to try to see if I can get this session that I had with Wrath up on my YouTube tonight. And then we'll be back tomorrow to do our usual Mahjong Mondays. And then we'll kind of see how we're going to do streaming from there. Thank you so much for everyone who came by. If you liked me, if you like my content, please hit the follow button as it helps build the channel. Let's figure out where we are going to send you
THX
guys.
for sharing the coaching session. Laughing
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, and very appreciative to Wrath for letting me stream this. I did this mostly for like VODs, so I could have like something to review on. But I'm glad, honestly, just like getting this information out there to more people is super helpful. And anything to just like help people get better at the game, get them more interest in the game, I think is just a net positive. All right, let's see who we can raid. Direct mix. Ooh, okay. So we are going to send you over to, this is kind of a big stream. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna send you over to, yeah, we'll send you over to Ramkev TFT. They are currently playing Mahjong Soul, and they have a charity stream going. So I'm all about the charity. We'll send you over that way. Tell them I said hi, and hope you all had a wonderful time here. I will catch you all next time, which should be tomorrow, as I said. and then we'll kind of figure out a schedule from there. If you haven't already, please check out my YouTube channel. Should be in the description below, down in like the more about me, where I have some of my Mahjong games posted that are highly edited down and a lot more memey than you would normally get here. I don't have, as you can see, I am not good enough at the game to just have my gameplay carry my content alone, so I need to add some beeps and boops and fun little jokes here and there for people to be entertained. All right, but thank you so much again. I will catch you all next time, whenever that may be, if you show up tomorrow or another day, and hope this was helpful to you all. All right, have a good one. I will catch you later. Bye.